Yes, yes.
Yeah, sounds good. You are in some sort of space vessel cabin.
They came from behind.
Came from behind.
Amazing.
Remember the gyrocopters used to do that in Warcraft 3? It would be.
I don't remember that, but I remember of them. So, welcome to the Fragments of Eternity, that Starfinder game that we all know how to do the intro of because it hasn't been almost a month. It's what, the 7th of June? That'll do. 2021, session 95, somehow. I'm Ryan, the GM, and here are the players.
Oh shit, I've made myself first accidentally this time. Hello. I am Colin, or Cocoa Juice, you can call me.
I will never call you that.
It's terrible. Shout out to Big Erdo, who is never going to hear this, but never mind. Anyway, I'm Colin. I'll be playing Lyco Quint, your resident sneaky, spooky space cop, coast to coast.
Hello, I am Nico, and I'll be playing your spooky, kooky, all-together, fluky, Zora, the Vest Captain Admiral.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'll be playing Weird, the android mechanic, here to fuck up everything.
Wow.
And I'm all out of everything.
Yep. Stop bringing the energy.
Just here to fuck up. Is that it? Is that where that goes, Colin? I love it. Also, hello Tom in chat. You can
Who's Tom in chat?
Nope. Zig. Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, sorry. Hi, I'm
Hi.
Callum. How are we? I'm Callum. I'll be playing Zig, the mystical space rat from the sun. He is great and magical and great.
Oh. Double great.
In summary, the players are a land of contrast.
Fair.
I remember that meme in the mountains.
What do you remember from last time?
Big scary sky. Sky. Big scary.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Skyboat, yeah.
Skyboat, yeah.
Was it?
Gorvesk is here.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Callum, remember Thanari used to call them star vessels. Remember?
Star vessels. That's right.
It's those times. Back when it was simpler and we just had telepathic T-Rexes. Man.
It was a simpler time.
You call them.
Well, they were like Nissalanosaurs or some ridiculous.
Yeah, they're the cover thing for the Backworlds book.
Yeah.
My new favorite dinosaur is the Majungasaurus.
Okay.
Is that because it sounds a bit like Chungus?
That sounds amazing. What is a Majungasaurus? Tell me a story.
A Majungasaurus.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Like, it's just so... It's exactly what you expect.
It's like a toddler thought T-Rexes look dumb, give them spikes.
Okay, show me one.
Yeah.
Right? It is like a kid just drew extra bits on a T-Rex and then smoothed out the T-Rex's head a bit.
Yeah, it's a bit Allosaurus, a wee bit Allosaurus.
I mean, I am betting it did not have the skin of a crocodile in real life, but...
I mean, that was a Jurassic World thing I've shared, so
yeah.
Obviously not.
Would you like to know? Would you like to know my favorite dinosaur?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's the crow.
Yep. Yep.
I'm sorry. I am
Brandon
that
Lee.
guy. I am that guy,
Brandon
and I will
Lee.
never not be that guy.
Yep.
But also, crows are excellent, and
Crows
they're
are excellent.
goth, and they're very clever.
They're very, very clever.
Yep.
They are. Oh my god, they're so huge as well. I saw a couple crows harassing a sea eagle last week.
No, literally. I thought you were doing an eagle.
No, like seriously, yeah. Driving home from work,
big.
and it was just these two crows beating the shit out of the seagull.
Okay. Well, now we're on the subject, right? Now, let's not go off topic too far. Callum, is that your favourite dinosaur then? The Junctosaurus.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Nico, what's your favourite dinosaur?
Oh, probably either an Allosaurus or an Anky.
Okay, Ankylosaur? That's pretty respectable. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, I've been a Dilophosaurus boy for years now. Can't go wrong with a
What are
Dilophosaurus.
they?
See Jurassic Park, where it spits on the fat guy stealing the stuff?
Oh, they're the ones that they gave frills.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I like Dilophosaurus. They're pretty damn cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Alex?
I could imagine dinosaurs being like cats. That's all.
Fairy dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like can we narrow it down by category or era?
No.
This is-
Just anything, mate.
No,
Just
you only get one.
No, this is
I
cruel.
give two, mate. I give a carnivore and a herbivore, right? I give a carnivore and a herbivore. There you go.
I'll go for a Utahraptor.
Right, okay.
Yeah, respect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Feathery raptor.
What?
Feathery raptor. Lovely feathers.
Yes, and also more likely ones that they portrayed in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the Utahraptor is the one that they based the Velociraptor on.
Yeah.
I hear that, and I also hear Deinonychus was
Yep.
possibly.
That was the one that came into my mind as well.
I think that's later. They kind of made the Velociraptor look a bit smaller, I think.
Yeah, 'cause I think
But Deinonychus did the egg stealing and it has more hands.
and I think that's
which
it is much
checks
bigger,
out.
is it not?
It's not. It's
It's
no.
bigger than a Velociraptor.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yes. Whereas the
I suppose-
Utahraptor is like person height and truly terrifying. And it looks really cute now that they've added the feathers on.
Yeah.
If I had to give a serious answer that wasn't like they're not actually extinct, it would probably be
Well, we never said
one of
extinct
the
dinosaurs.
raptors,
Yeah.
or Dromaeosaurs to be even wankier. It would probably be a Velociraptor for the simple fact that A, it's iconic. B, there's a really cool fossil of one trying to
Oh yeah.
attack a baby ceratopsian of some sort. I can't remember what kind. Frozen mid-fight, and also they probably looked a lot like an actual bird. So watching them hunt would probably be really weird and surreal. Like, why are those
Mhm.
turkeys ripping that thing apart? I just think it'd be really cool. So I'm a Velociraptor boy. Look at it. I mean, that's really quite cute.
Mhm.
If they're half as smart as what the people think they are as well. I mean, that's pretty cool, right?
Also, I really dig the Microraptor because
This one with the back leg.
it's got four
Oh my God.
wings.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like, damn, that's some efficiency there.
Yeah.
Evolution will try anything, and discard most of it.
Okay.
Same.
Sorry, we've got a. What did Tom say in chat? Let's go back to it. So I was reading a thing the other day. It says, "Is it weird that scientists told us what a dinosaur sounds like without ever hearing it? Imagine." We're completely wrong. They mean like cats or anything. Okay, yeah,
Oh.
fair. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to recommend
Yeah,
a book
100%.
which I haven't read, but I have read an article based on by the author. So it was by Darren Nash. That's Nash with an AI, and I can't remember. It was maybe Kozman. So it's called All Yesterdays, and it's a book based on the idea of what if we're radically reconstructing things wrongly, and it looks at the ways we might be doing that by looking at what people would, what errors would you make if you applied the same techniques to modern animals. So it has like, what would people reconstruct cats like?
Oh,
if
that sounds
they didn't know
interesting.
what cats are.
Oh,
It's
yes.
it's really fascinating.
I was
Um,
going to bring up because we watched a documentary a while ago. There's a really good documentary on Netflix, not Netflix, on Amazon Prime, because we subscribe to the Discovery Channel, whatever it's called.
Okay.
The sub channel within Prime, and Jeff Bezos is one of the worst people that ever lived. His inaction on global issues is unjustifiable, but the documentary is solid, and it talks about like feathered dinosaurs and how they found these dinosaur nests that
I will have to
represent.
state for the sake of the stream that my views do not necessarily align with those of the guest on said stream. Please continue, Alex.
Nothing I said was controversial. Yeah, no,
And he's going
they.
there.
Yeah, but they showed the dinosaur kind of sitting in the middle of a nest and rotating these eggs that it has laid down a ring. It's a really cool fossil that they found as well of all these eggs in a circle.
Cool.
With the dino sitting in the middle. But I feel like, they have drastically underestimated the feathers because they keep portraying them as just like the normal dinosaurs with a light feathery touch.
Yeah, like
And-
feathers on like their shoulders or something.
Yeah,
like that.
when you look at the structure of them, they're like, no, this looks like a plucked chicken. I want a T-Rex with a full chicken level plumage, where it's like 3 times the size and just super fluffy. And when you try and pick it, like if you ever tried to pick up a chicken, there's not a lot of body under that usually.
Yeah, it's all fluff. It's like a Persian cat.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my rant on the demand.
They have found a lot of T-Rex flesh impressions at this point. And it can't have been as feathery as a lot of other tyrannosaurs.
I think it would overheat too much, but I guess apparently actually a problem with the
Impression is a great name.
I mean, yeah, I think I did see T-Rex flesh impression at King Tut's in 2009.
In the before times.
Okay.
I don't know why that's perhaps doesn't matter.
Right. So, also, did we get an answer?
I love it. Dinosaurs.
From
Oh my god.
For what, sorry? Answer for what?
Triceratops. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that used to be my favourite when I was a lot younger.
it's a solid choice.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's a top tier dinosaur. Let's face it.
It's definitely a
Triceratops,
solid choice because
You know what?
look at how big those fuckers were.
I do
Yeah,
also
we're gonna be
highly
friends
rate
with someone.
I highly rate the Spinosaurus when it's portrayed more accurately and not the way it is in Jurassic Park 3.
Right. Okay.
Because Spinosaurus in water is a cool beast.
It's one of those ones that's constantly being reinvented because they go constantly going back and forth with the evidence of how aquatic it would have been. And at the moment, there's been a move away because after the tail discovery, which indicated that its tail looks like a fucking newt tail, that was like, oh well, that's supportive of a super aquatic creature. But then new calculations suggested that it probably wasn't.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a weird animal.
Yeah, it's not going to be that aquatic. The idea that it would chase down fish is like of that swordfish are pretty damn fast. I feel like, although that's enough picture of Spinosaurus with swordfish, I have to ask
Right,
whether they've got fossil evidence.
Legitimately was like, but there's 2 different pictures of it.
It's bound to have been more than just like a wader, because it's got a specialized tail too. If it were just the mouth, then a wader would make sense. But
yeah,
I don't
That
want
or
to be
evolution
that
just
guy.
rolled the dice, right? Just
But
like,
So I'm
I don't
that
think
guy.
Those pictures are real.
but you can't even see the cloaca.
True.
we don't need 2 of that guy.
We need less than 1 of that guy, to be honest.
My character is a distinctly different guy.
Yeah. So,
Well, there are several types of guy.
if we can all take our hands off our cloacas and get on with the game, though, that'd be great. So,
See, his Olka's banned me from talking about furscience.com.
yeah.
Science. I don't even want to know, actually.
So, what do you remember from last time?
We found CC. He was in
Yep.
the terrifying interplanetary void known as the Drift, which isn't actually interplanetary. It's like extra-dimensional time stuff. And he was cold probably because, as the intro to Red Dwarf said, there's no kind of atmosphere. And
He's all alone.
More alone.
we went to Triaxis.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
There's Vesk stuff happening.
Big, scary Vesk vessel. City. Monolith.
Yeah. Do we still have the image somewhere here? Is this the one? No, that's not the one. There it was, there. Let me just share this. Webamzo.
Yeah. And for scale, that's the size of a normal ship, just in the mouth of that.
That, by normal ship, it means their ship.
Yeah. Which is pretty hefty.
Well, if it's our ship, it's a normal ship. That's how it works.
And your ship is, yeah, that's the player reference scale, obviously. And the thing is, as well, you just have a fairly big ship, as well, right? Like in the terms of, yeah, it's reasonable. It is definitely reasonable. But yours is somewhere in the tier 1 variety. I can't remember what the exact tier of the ship is.
19.
No, not this one. I mean the one you
Oh,
actually
okay.
have. Like,
R1.
yeah, it might. Where's the stats? Right, final run for. There we go. What is it? It's a tier 8. There we go. See? Yeah, I was gonna say I knew yours was pretty chunky. Tier 8. Really? That popular, Alex? Really? Right.
That's what the stats are saying. But it is only 43 people identifying with dinosaurs out of.
Oh, I didn't read the rest of that. Sorry, I never realised this was just specifically dinosaur
But
based.
it's kind of in keeping with some of the other themes that you see throughout the other species distributions, where like wolves, foxes, sharks. There's a general trend towards
Wolves
kind of
clearly
easily.
have some special place in the human psyche. The word
Yes.
wolf is Proto-Indo-European, right?
Mhm.
Wolves are so ubiquitous in our media. And you look at fursunas, and I hate to say this, or should I say fursunae? But like, they are the common one. It is some sort of wolf or dog. Right?
There you go. There's the numbers. Olga, again, this is where Olga's banned me about complaining about the misrepresentation of the animal kingdom in the fursona world,
I mean,
and how
you
the
look
majority
at
of them should be beetles.
yes,
But,
to be representative, which I'm sure is only fair.
I don't
There's
know if
a
that's the
huge mammal
point to it.
bias.
my job is to gracefully misunderstand the point of things.
Represent.
So why wolves? That's the thing.
Is it
Why
weird
are
that
wolves?
ferrets are further down than I thought they would be? Is that weird?
They are the highest rated mustelid, I think, though, aren't they? Oh, actually, is the skunk a mustelid?
I think it is.
I think the skunk's a mustelid. Yeah, sorry, that is.
Yeah, but I think Pepe Le Fou, or whatever his name was, is to blame for that one. Let's see. Otter not as high up as I thought it might be as well.
they're not mustelids, but they're in the superfamily of mustelids.
Oh, okay.
I was correct. Yes, thank you. My mustelid knowledge, I do treasure. So.
Other is such a big category. It's
Ooh,
amazing.
sorry,
they
they're
managed
not.
to get
They're
it.
not the highest mustelid. The otter is in there, higher than
otter.
the otters
Okay.
up there.
I can see why otters, but you think
Yeah.
you think that might actually be a misunderstanding of what the question was.
That's because ours are pretty damn cute, right? Pretty cute.
You know, otters
Interestingly,
are.
if anyone's wondering, they have also under the mythical category that they've got there. They have also included Pokemon and Digimon.
I like the fact that Dragon was so good it broke out of the mythical category.
Yes.
Here's the thing: Dragon
they've
is too broad a category.
Okay, so do you want this?
He's got another chart.
Of course, he had another
Oh,
chart. This is
yes.
Alex.
Uh huh. Where's the
Non-specified and other.
I would go deeper in this because you have in mythology you have dragons that are winged, dragons that are winged in a sort of more natural way. So you get 6-limbed versus 4-limbed.
I
What in
think
France
that
versus
is supposed to be the Western Eastern distinction they've drawn, but yeah, this is on.
So is Western Eastern
I
the
think
difference between like
self-identification.
would Eastern not just be like the
Serpentine?
exactly? And then you've no.
See, my suggestion was it was kind of like the Eastern Dragon festivals where it's 7 people in a costume.
Yeah. I mean,
I bet you're glad you tuned in for this shit, right?
Yeah. Wow.
This wasn't the RP you thought you were getting.
I think it's now becoming obvious why this game took 3 years.
Yes.
For it to peak at the species popularity dragon table. Personas.
Over 1,000 days. Yeah, we've done 95.
Don't depress me.
I don't see the problem.
Only 96 to go. Oh dear.
That's all right. This is section 3.1 of their research findings, which goes up to section 14.4.
Okay,
and
I am
the
not surprised that
appendices.
Cario was most popular there besides the other category, which I don't think
Yeah,
should be right.
there's a section there that's definitely ease of representation as well. But I appreciate, judging by the size of the numbers, there's like one person
Raichu,
each calling Mew and Mewtwo.
Yeah. I mean-
Raichu's got that dad bod that some people like.
There.
Really? I don't know. It's the
Right, so Mew is a cat fetus, which is troubling to me.
There's a lot troubling here, Colin.
Yeah.
There's
But there's like an extra layer of trouble.
That's like throwing a dart
Part.
when you're already in a fursuit, Colin. So there's no point, essentially.
Yes, that's the old parable about
Yep.
the dart and the fursuit. Yeah, I know that one.
Basically,
What
all
are
the
we talking
four-legged
about?
things. Really, it's
Eevee,
like
fair
everything.
enough, right? Eevee, I get. I understand Eevee. It's basically a fox, cat, rabbit thing, right? So that's already a combo hybrid, as
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
Kawaii. It's
It
kawaii.
is kawaii.
Welcome to
Kawaii.
the Furry Stats of Eternity. I am Callum, and I will be moderating this discussion.
That's not fair. I've come over prepared. Given that I had another conference call yesterday where we discussed the same website for 45 minutes
Nice.
in place of Dungeons and Dragons.
Fucking hell.
This is my weekly derailing website.
Right, okay, so I'm going to just close all these tabs. I'm actually just going to delete this browser from my computer and just get a new computer. So,
Well, I'm
what
glad
else
you tag
happened
it's a mature
last
stream.
time? I just, I set the entire channel to mature streaming because I realized Colin's in 2 of my games.
Yes,
So-
that's entirely fair.
That makes sense.
Why is this my fault?
It's to balance
So
your
we went to
immature.
Triaxis, and
Sorry,
a
Coco
big,
Juice.
scary giant ship
That's
of
alright.
scariness showed up.
Yep,
Well, it was already
yep,
there.
The
I guess.
Merciless Blade.
And-
Yep,
Merciless Blade.
Offshore.
Super colossal base ship.
Offshore Viscarium.
Oh dear. Why weren't Vesk on the furry list? That's all I want to know. Anyway,
It's a different. It's a
I mean,
different
Scaly.
kind.
another Scalies, but like, come on.
It also is
come
a
on.
different thing.
Yeah. Anyway, so if that's all you remember, do you remember how it ended?
No, but I wasn't there, was I?
Uh,
I think that's
No.
from the first night I was
That's
offered by infection.
no. Do I remember how it ended? I thought we just
Chest
jumped in.
infection.
It was the ship of doom.
Did
There was no
somebody-
last week, don't worry.
You were being hailed
That's
right.
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 by the Merciless Blade.
Okay.
Yeah. So, before we do that, let's talk about goals very briefly.
Oh, heck.
Yeah, right? So, Zara, tell me your goal.
Get Demogeshi's personal files. Gonna get out of there.
Like,
Clarify Chekhov's situation with Halen and or Babak or Halen, is it? I made
Halen.
an Eddie Vedder joke and then I realised I didn't know who Eddie Vedder was, and
Oh God, he's great.
I genuinely, for some reason, confused
so Alex,
him
what's
with-
your goal?
It is establish a cybernetics business.
Yep.
Brackets. Oops, all spines.
Sick.
Deliver the solar egg to the solar monastery. I mean, it seems apt. Obviously, super relevant in our current predicament.
Also, I love how the only person I called by their name was Alex. Weird. That's really what I meant to say, but that's fine. That's an odd thing to do. And general goals. Callum, you're enthusiastic. Do you want to tell me the general goals?
General goals: deliver Edgar to Triaxis, which is ongoing. Well, they're all ongoing, I guess.
Sure.
Steal the Merciless Blade. Worth jumping to level 18. I quite like that one. Conclude the Kivulari case. Speak with Dimagesh on Situation on Nocturne. And gain useful MO info.
Yeah. Okay.
And maybe combat goal.
And level goal. That's my favourite
And
one.
level.
Level goal's my favourite goal. Why haven't we just done that one every week? So yeah.
Is that like level death?
Yeah. So
He got that reference.
No, it's just weird.
so
Oh, why?
we're in the game. Your console's blaring. You're being hailed.
Well, that's not supposed to be there. I would say about the big ship, and I guess I'll press the button, the button.
Yep. And there is a like somewhere between like an officer and like a very kind of well dressed dignitary. And they look at you, and you can tell just from a glance, Zora, this is like some a bureaucrat that has obviously seems to have been all the rage now in the Vesk society is declaring yourself some kind of like, either diplomat, bureaucrat, or in some way part of the diplomatic team.
Trend you started, pal.
So yeah, exactly. You were the trendsetter. So it's now very good for like giving yourself status when no status existed through like achievement. It's like, but I'm here to get status is now the new status. I guess kind of like hipsters, I guess. For Vesks. So yeah, there's a guy there. And he grins as they call him. He goes, "The Abyss. Welcome to Triaxis."
Thank you.
Waves his hand and goes, "No need for such formalities. Apparently, you are early."
Yeah, we managed to get business tied up a little bit faster. What's never mind. I never said that.
That's fine, yep, don't worry. Yep. Nobody heard nothing.
Nobody heard nothing.
Are we all in the?
Yeah, I just say, like, I think these are all on the bridge. Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
And yeah, they say, "Please link up your ship to ours, and we will have you auto-navigate in. There seems to be some issue with the override facility at the moment."
Okay. I'll be fine. But like, I'll just look around at everybody and like,
Yeah.
I'll press the buttons. I mean, I don't know how to do it. I'm just pressing buttons at this point, flicking through tabs.
Computers.
So, is somebody on the bridge going to do that, or is it just he's just going to watch the captain like push buttons?
I mean, I'll do it if the captain wants it.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna step on his toes.
I'll turn around to my knees and shrug. Like, is the notification of save me?
Also,
I need to
weird.
remember
You can
that.
have that if you want. Next roll I make you do, you can roll twice and take the better result, buddy.
Yes. Worth it.
Score.
Finally, something to do with my points.
Yay! You go spam the other games with loads of points and just, break 5e.
I will buy all of the points and
Save for wish, isn't that what everybody else is doing? Or to summon T-Rexes on people? Like, I feel like that's what I would do.
What I'm doing.
Yeah, right.
I will introduce the NPC, and he should be statistically representative
Yep.
of his community.
He's just saving to get enough of the chart summoned in one evening. Give me advance warning, right? When you have enough points, let me know what chart you're working off, and I'll just start working on tokens first. Oh dear. So anyway, as I was saying, yeah, who's doing what on the bridge in response to this? So, Zora, are you indicating to the crew that you want them to do this, or are you trying to be like, cool, we'll get that done?
I'd kind of shrug and like point towards it, if you know what I mean. Are we still in an open comm?
Yeah, you're staring at the hologram.
Yeah. So, so to take care of this, I guess I'll just fucking be all Vesk about it.
I will wander across and deal with it then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't take long. Do you have piloting trained out of interest?
Yes,
Perfect. Then yeah, you don't even need to roll.
I'm on this shit.
Yeah, and as soon as that happens, like you can all feel like the ship can like come to life a bit more, like agilely as it's moving its way towards the Merciless Blades, kind of like huge docking kind of like entrance at the start, or the front of the ship itself. Obviously, it's not going to be a super quick process. So, anything you want to do before you are took inside the Merciless Blade?
So, it comes off, yes.
You can end. quickly.
We'll see you in there, and I'll give my vest salute and press the button.
He just kind of like he chuckles to himself because you're like punching holographic shoulders. So he just the Vesk's and he just kind of chuckles to himself and then like leans over, like his hand goes out of the holographic field and then it
You're
just
really
like
getting
shuts
the
off.
sense that you're not what you would call a techie.
I mean, what would make you think that, Colin?
I just love that you're living in this fucking advanced civilization and just like
I'm a fucking
not
space
interacting
bonker
with
lizard.
anyone.
Like, I'm a
Yeah,
space
but so
bonker lizard
big.
grunt.
That you're interacting with.
Yeah, he was literally a grunt that just got put so many medals on his chest. He was put into an office with normies of the universe. Oh,
Exactly.
I love it. It's so good. Yeah, so comms are off now. Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's actually a miracle I'm charismatic.
It really is.
I mean, I'm not.
I like to believe that was all Emlyn Daly's assistance.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Everybody just thought I was.
So
boy.
How long do you think he's going to keep you on board, Captain?
Depends on who's in charge. As far as I know, like this is the sort of ship the Patriarch would carry going well could be on.
Matriarch or the Imperatrix, remember?
Oh yeah, Imperatrix. Sorry, it's
Yeah,
not Patriarch.
Far from it.
I see. So this is as big as it gets.
I would not consider this Vesk Prime.
The belly of the beast.
It would not.
Should I be concerned?
I'm concerned.
I think 6 years are just.
I think like you hear the comms come on, right, and there's like some like horrible like weird whale noise screeching, and it then says there is no need to be concerned, and it's Finn.
Oh yeah, I'm still cupped.
And I think like Alice goes, "Oh yeah," and then like spins back in the chair and just starts like pulling up the stuff she was working on before.
So I guess we should probably try and fix him as well while we're at it. I
Alice
don't
just
exactly
like
know.
holds up a thumb behind like her head from her chair as if I'm on that.
I don't exactly know what sort of access we're going to get in here. I don't even know why it's here. It's not supposed to be here.
Well,
I should be
fair,
thinking.
are you actually supposed to be privy to this sort of thing?
I mean, this sort of thing should be
So
sitting.
just to give you a bit of like, I'll give you a bit more information on that exact question Colin just asked you, right? So you're now 1, 2, 3, third in charge of the Empire, the Viscarium. That's where you are in terms of the overall rankings. Because remember, like you are Demogesh's like understudy, essentially. You're his like first lieutenant, as it were. Because that's what he wanted
Yeah,
you
but
for.
even so.
So what I mean by that is like this is like specifically for like Nico's understanding of what he should and shouldn't know, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, he probably should have been told this, but he wasn't because we know he wasn't because none of you knew. Also, you've got obviously the Imperatrix at the top. Then there's the two people, which is obviously Demogesh and Matva, and then it goes into the two different lines of like structure. And obviously, you were quite low down in Matva's structure. And then you moved across into that new third branch, where you were the head of that third branch, the diplomatic corps, and then you've been cherry kind of picked back by Matva, and now you've been taken for quite a promotion by Demogesh. So that's kind of where you fall in the Vesk hierarchy at the moment, Zora. So this is something you should probably have been made aware of, protocol-wise, but you weren't.
Okay.
Just in case you want to actually have a bit of weight behind your answer.
What I was going to suggest though is there not would it not be normal, for instance, for I got the impression that the sort of higher ups, that the rivals would, potentially keep their operations from each other. Right? That it might not be implausible that people at his level would not be necessarily informing others of what they're up to.
As far as I'm understanding where this ship goes, I guess it wouldn't be like that, though, right? It's more like, look what we've got and what we need to use.
Yeah.
I think, see if Zora was still like with Matva. Like, see the Matva to Mogesh level, they are very much totally different sides. Yeah, they're like, there's my camp and your camp, and that I totally agree on that front. See now that Zora's been moved into like Camp to Mogesh, technically, being one step beneath Tomogesh, you'd think, well, you'd arm your lieutenant with everything you need them to know.
Yeah, I suppose
Which is the phrase,
because
yeah.
it's a direct hierarchy rather than equal levels in different areas. Yeah, I can see that.
But the difference is, this ship is like where you would mount like Vesk Prime from if the planet blew up. That's what this ship is. That's what like Zora was meaning by that statement.
Yeah, so yeah, I see where you come from. I just wanted to play devil's advocate there because I knew things had sort of been hidden in the past. But yeah, you consider the sheer scale of the ship, even.
Yeah,
it would be hard.
It wouldn't be weird if this solar system was like being conquered for this ship to be here. For that way, that would make sense. It also means it's not wherever the front line for the Swarm War is. It's not there anymore, which is probably where it would have been last time Zora knew about it. So that's
would that suggest to Zora, that they're quite confident about the state of the war with the Swarm?
That or they've pulled back.
Yeah, the opposite, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like literally it's going so well they don't need it, or it's went so badly there's no point in it being there.
They've turned a retreat into an advance, perhaps.
Yeah.
Or I think like Zora's actually probably just thinking along the lines of, they think that they can actually take the battlefields now. Smell. But
right.
Probably Zora's thinking. Like,
so what's said in the room then, right? Based on that. So Alice is working on Finn.
Well, this should be... Well, I guess when he asked me that question, he says, well, this is usually what you'd expect to be mounting the offensive against the Swarm with. Or, invading a certain system.
Invasion.
I mean, I don't see any resistance.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean it's not an invasion. It just means that we either weren't prepared or haven't realized what's happening yet.
Either way, we're missing something.
Yeah. Any instance as to what that might be?
I'd see Demogesh being able to sway the Imperatrix to bring this here just for Urgalas. Doesn't make sense. That's not a Vesk problem.
Yet.
It occurs to me that this is your capital ship.
The flagship, yep.
So it is the Viscarium, like Alpha 1, Prime 1, whatever you want to call it. It is the number one ship in the fleet, but it is not known as the flagship.
It's not.
The
because Demogesh is on the flagship, yeah.
Mogesh's ship is the flagship.
It's called. I can't remember what it's called.
You would know it though. His is called the... The Conqueror of Worlds.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
Which is a lot less dramatic than his actual like title, the Grave Epoch Annihilator.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's very straight to the point.
Yeah. The Conqueror of Worlds is the flagship he commands from. But this is more just like welcome to Vesk Prime 2. But it's not wrong calling it a flagship. A lot of people would call it that, and then a lot of Vesk would just look at each other and kind of laugh to themselves because of that reason.
Haha, that's not a flagship. They think it's a ship.
They called it a ship.
It's no moon.
Yeah, it's more of a moon than a ship, I suppose. So yeah,
It's a space station.
anything he's want done before he's head in? I'd say he's maybe got like 20 minutes before he's fully docked.
I don't really think I can think of that would want to do.
I don't know. I'm not sure how useful Lyco can be for prep for the inside of a vest ship.
Just like turn all the posters of anti-Vesk propaganda around, stuff like that.
Oh, I know what I'll do. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna shut off my holo board.
You can probably do that from here if you want. I feel like you could remote control that from your comm device,
Yeah.
but yeah.
No, I think he's probably already done that, and we'll go down and take down like the physical bits he has since then added.
Fair.
So the hard light display floats over an actual board at this point, I think.
Yep.
So you can have multiple levels, you see.
Yeah, you want a tactile interface as well, right?
Yeah.
That's, makes sense. You can't solve crimes without the real cork board.
Oh yeah.
Zig,
Um,
anything you need to do before?
I don't think he can do anything really useful. Delete everyone's internet history and
Yeah. Clear cookies and delete
Best.
history. Yep. Okay. Yep. And then
oh wait, no.
just replace it with just like loads of websites about sun facts.
Start working on how we conquer this ship. That's what we do.
What about weird?
Will I be allowed to go in with my armor on?
I mean,
It feels like
I was gonna say that's really up to your captain.
I mean, you could go be a robber if you want to go and be a robber. You would probably know that, right? You probably know I would limit. Like,
and I'll be all geared up.
I'm gonna just repeat the part where, in terms of
God.
rankings, your captain is the third in charge of the Viscarium.
Cool. Then I shall close my helmet over so that it's not obvious I'm an android.
Okay.
I mean,
They will probably just think chonky Kasathan, if anything.
Yeah.
With a small head.
or armored guard bot.
I can make my helmet look big.
Well then.
Yourself like a robot voice and nobody will know. Like it's fine.
He has a robot. No, anyway. So
I mean,
like Buck Rogers with bazookas.
beady beady beady.
Okay.
It was beady beady beady.
Yeah.
Buck Rogers. I think it was.
I think it
don't
was,
know,
yeah.
I can't remember.
That's where my sci-fi knowledge took me, at least.
Oh, have you seen my new Steam name?
No, I have not.
Just in the subject.
Oh dear. Yep, cool. Yep, Cuck Rogers. Yep. Well,
No free
well
bats
done.
on Steam.
TOS, don't think we should see it, but that's why I didn't. I just
yeah. I don't know how TOS that is, as long as we never speak about any actual subject matter other than just quoting the name. That should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So moving swiftly on.
Speak about the subject.
No
Wow.
subjects. We're barely allowed to speak as it is, right? You saw how dangerous that's been for the first.
Soon
hour.
Jeff Bezos will be standing in each of our homes with a
No.
gun, in case we say anything against TOS.
There's a lot of free time. Oh wait, never mind. So speaking
He's
as a
cloned himself
Vesk.
many times.
Yeah, he's got nothing to do. I think he's just. Maybe you just look out the windows because there's a lot of ships coming and going. A lot of Vesk ships coming and going from like the the massive like dock that's at the front of this.
On a scale of like 1 to war, how war are you like all the?
What are you up
Oh,
against?
they're Vesk ships.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah, so
Sorry.
like war against the Skittermanders just took one Vesk.
I mean, a system
A lot of
probably, right?
patience.
Or at least a planet or two.
Given the way the pack roll is just now, there's enough for this to be a massive problem. Yeah, like a massive, massive problem. Like
Okay.
remember the stewards are a bit in disarray at the moment. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a thing.
War then looks pretty war.
It would
On the
not
scale.
like. This is a type of fleet you'd want to turn up to rescue you if the fight was going really poorly against you. It's that
Okay,
kind of,
okay.
Hail Mary kind of, yay, they're all here to help us.
Maybe Demagesh, but half mile naked chew. And he did go and try and take it to the man and got his arse handed to him because he was full of beans.
So, let me...
Full of beans?
Don't know
I mean,
that.
I've heard that expression, but not for a while.
So, let's look at some Vesk ships, right, for a bit. So, there's your ship, right, an Orikama dropship.
Shit.
And then you've got that little fightery type thing, a single person, in that one, right? And then you're seeing a bunch of these.
Alright.
They're not to scale, obviously, the drawings. You're seeing a bunch of these as well, which are much bigger Vesk ships of the line. I'm trying to think what their names are though, because I do have them somewhere in here. 2 seconds to remind myself what they're called. Vesk spaceships.
They're very Zentradi from
Yeah.
Robotech and Macross. Or I'll use
Uh,
lads.
Vindicus Tyrants. So the Tyrant class, like destroyers essentially.
Such
Dreadnought,
a
sorry,
well-made
Dreadnoughts.
name.
Yes! Yeah, Vindicus Tyrants is such a... We're here to help. But they are... Let's say like tier 16, I think they are. Have a wee look to see if I've got them on the compendium here.
Yeah. Bigger and slow. It's cumbersome. Ha.
So yeah, we got them here. So tier 16, those things are the dreadnoughts. They are merely just colossal dreadnoughts as their classification.
Merely.
Merely a colossal dreadnought.
Yeah.
I've seen a few of them.
They have about 300 crew each.
Yeah, we can take that. 10 each.
Are we?
Like, that's not good math, but it's fine.
That's really bad now.
Not good enough, but it's fine.
Thing is,
10 each. Not
you
each.
might, you might get 10 each though. Like stat wise, like you might make it through that.
How long are the corridors?
Well, Vesk build their corridors in figure of 8s, sadly. So they're really, really pro anti-sniper corridors.
Unfortunate.
Also, angry dinosaur noises to you as well, and it's really
These
funny.
were Roman ships.
I don't think Scott realizes how funny that comment is, given the subjects we discussed.
Actually, that is
Yeah.
quite amusing.
It's pretty good. Welcome, Scott. And also, what is your favourite
Well done in the
dinosaur?
What's your favourite dinosaur? Yeah.
intentional-
Yeah. And also, coincidentally, what's your favourite Persona popularity chart? Not even specifically Persona, just the chart. Because we had more of them than I care to admit.
More for
When we see
diagrams than
TMT.
dinosaurs.
Yeah. Crazy. Anyway, so
The scientists have done it again. Or at least this person making charts on the internet.
is it you?
This is not me. I am an innocent bystander in this whole
This
affair.
sounded like your answer machine.
You are a
from the most weird
statistician,
person.
though, right? I mean,
I'm a
that-
statistician, but the government has yet to open the Department of Personas, despite my repeated stuffing of the suggestion box. So,
I
So
thought they
moving
had to
on.
get rid of the suggestion boxes because of terrorism, but I'm pleased to hear they still exist.
well, I say suggestion box.
You mean inbox?
So Benjamin is your favorite dinosaur. Fair enough. Yep, that makes sense. Yep. Cool.
How furry is Benjamin?
Well, he's an old school T-Rex, so not
Oh,
very.
if you leave him out too long, then yeah, he'll be furry.
There you go. See, sorted. Anyway, so you're seeing a bunch of these Vindigus Tyrants around as well, and yeah, like there is definitely enough firepower here to put a lot of the this is the type of thing that could go up against a corpse fleet. It just wouldn't want to.
Okay.
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 If the corpse fleet and this had been working together, that would be enough to take the system over without really needing to be a fight.
Yeah.
Like, it would almost be pointless to even start the fight at that point with those two fleets combined.
Sound very inviting.
No. Because obviously after every battle, if the corpse fleet win, which they have won most of the altercations they've come up against that weren't heavily like outnumbering them, they'll just use the dead to replenish their numbers. So it's great economy, actually. So yeah.
So here's a thought.
Mhm.
This might be an ideal place to leave some sort of bomb.
I mean, please don't.
Because we have a bomb and we're going to take it to the thingy. All I'm just saying is like we could kill many thousands of birds with one bomb.
Oh, but Sora doesn't necessarily want you to kill many thousands of those birds.
Mm-hmm. Which I like.
This is why you don't go through the chain of command.
Yeah, you don't try to get it sanctioned. Yeah.
I would rather there was no bombing of the Vesk sub-capital.
How strict an instruction is that?
Yeah, quite.
Quite should not be the way.
and as far as the captain goes, that is quite strong.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm taking that as his highest level of don't do that.
I think the levels of authority go from huh, oh yeah, and quite.
Oh, so he's jailed.
Oh yeah, quite. There you go.
I mean, I can't see Joe saying, "Oh yeah," but he definitely gets a few "huh," and
I think it's not so much "oh yeah" as "oh yeah." I remember. Also, hello, Scott. So that's Scott and Scott that have joined us. Welcome.
Scott, what's your favourite dinosaur?
Yes. What is your favourite dinosaur and or
Persona? Persona chart. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
The one on personality type breakdowns is good. I will say that.
Oh dear.
Is that good at best or like baseline good and then gets pretty
good at Vesk? That's what I heard.
It's a solid chart. Like it's the Persona stuff is the stuff you expect to find on there, but when it gets into breakdowns about personality types or the comparisons of political leanings between the furry online community, the furry convention going community, and the anime online community, they've got some real demographic.
Wait. Sorry, Scott. How can you not have a favorite dinosaur? Like, come on, Scott.
Yeah, like.
We'll even let you have any birds.
Yeah.
We're pretty open on this.
Yeah.
We're not as open as Alex seems to think we are, but we're definitely open.
Hey!
We're not as open as the people who contribute to that website, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
for context, there is no interest here in furries, just in statistics.
Yeah.
And I've run out of things to apply statistics to recently.
I do think there's interesting. I wonder if the figures back us up, but my intuition is that that furryism, let's call it that for the community's sake, does probably correlate with some pretty fucked politics.
I don't know that.
Actually, you find that furries are generally more liberal than the anime online.
So first of all, that is a solid dinosaur. Well done.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Brontosaurus.
Okay.
Now we're talking.
Was pretty good.
Respect.
Yep. So far we've
that
had...
feels like cheating.
Why? Because it's a good dinosaur.
Not a real thing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
No, I know the clade has been reinstated, but the actual animal for which it's named wasn't.
It's back, baby.
Is this whole Pluto thing again? Where I had
This
So
is more important than
the
any
original
Pluto thing.
brontosaur was a misunderstanding. It was a conflation of two different animals.
Okay.
But the group which was named for it has been. There's a term for the resurrected. I think they do actually see resurrecting a clade, don't they? Or something like that. They have brought it back into usage after, I believe, there's some sort of God, it was like there was some sort of research done anyway that indicated that they were sufficiently different from other sauropod groups to warrant a grouping on their own. So the term brontosaur is back because there's a group of animals called brontosaurs, but the original brontosaurus for which it is named was not a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a
There you
conflation of an
So
allosaur
what we're
and
saying is
a
your
sauropod.
favorite sucks because it's not real.
That's what I'm
Wow.
saying.
Wow.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Hey, I don't need some mod on mod action here, buddy. Right? You just back up the truck.
Why am I not? I think I asked that already.
I think
for
you
one,
know.
I think the Brontosaurus is a great
Just
dinosaur.
can't just ban yourself.
Real or not.
I think Colin as a mod would just accept everything. So that's pretty acceptable. That's
Okay.
reasonable.
The reason I have mods is because of I'm kidding.
See, I would either be far too tolerant, or I would wield the ban hammer with like unhealthy
Force.
glee and revel too much in my power. I'm not sure which one it would be, but I'm certain it would be one.
you know what?
So I
Like,
completely
see if you
respect
can
this
get
decision.
somebody to donate to the channel, and by that I mean let's give it something moderate but also ridiculous. So, 500 currencies. Okay. Don't care what the currencies
Well,
are.
like, a very small amount of all of the currencies is what you're saying.
500 currencies. Yep, something. As long as there's 500 different types, so you could just that'd be quite cheap on digital currency. To be fair, the various digital coin.
Please give me 500 Bitcoin.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
We
some
could build a
Bitcoin.
spaceship
I
for
wanna say
that,
I
but
have
not
some Bitcoin.
via Tesla, sadly,
I have like
or SpaceX.
a small fraction of a Bitcoin.
Me too, actually.
I think I've got a small fraction
Yeah.
of Bitcoin as well. Somewhere.
Would you like to know where I got mine? It was Papa John's.
Nice.
That's
I
true.
didn't know they
That's-
did money laundering.
Do you know? I don't have
Yeah.
Bitcoin. Now that I think about it, it's Ethereum I've got. That's what it is.
Ah.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
I like
Probably
this
a
new
safer choice
tangent.
just now.
Anyway,
I don't actually. I feel.
what's
bad
your
about
favorite digital cryptocurrency? That's the term. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of do agree with the sort of environmental and security cases against it, and yet simultaneously, me like magic money government can't touch. So I am a hypocrite, and
Hey,
but
it's fine. Everybody is.
equally,
So
I fucking hate it because I like cheap graphics cards.
yeah, I know. I was so glad I got my. Anyway, so besides that, so Scott specifically, look at he's already on the same subject as well. I knew it was going to come up. So why Brontosaurus and not Diplodocus or Diplodocus? Depending on your fucking Diplodocus. Aye, your brother will. That is your brother, by the way. Just so you know. That is his news. Like that's just his quote. That would be
Yeah.
his gravestone.
Fucking Diplodocus.
That would be the best thing to read in a gravestone. To be fair, it would imply so much. Anyway, so meanwhile, back in this game, vaguely and poorly, like I had back in this game, user are taken inside the Merciless Blade finally. Again, there's lots of ships like very, very close flybys and such, and a lot of them are either like your class or just bigger. Quite frankly, there's very few smaller ships. A lot of the dropships are repurposed as like cargo runners, because they're fairly easy to retrofit to make them really, really fast and hollow, so you can just stuff loads of supplies to get them to different lanes. And they're still armed to the teeth nicely, because they don't take out the guns. They take out things like spare crew, canteens and stuff like that. Yeah, reinforced armories, etc. And at least I don't have to rip out all those chairs they never installed, so that's fine. And yeah, these are taken to like a big kind of docking arm that comes out and grabs the ship, clamps you in place. And then I guess like the computer indicates that you're securely docked with the Merciless blade. Yeah. And then the comm goes again.
Okay. I will press the button.
Yeah. And same Vesk as before. The Abyss. You've docked. Excellent. Do you know your way to Command Central, or do you need an escort?
Don't know the way.
I don't know. Have you ever been on the Merciless blade before?
What do we roll?
It's up to you. You can either say yes or no, or you can roll for it, because that's quite exciting.
Let's roll for it.
Okay,
Let's roll
so
for
do
it.
I just like how likely do you think it is that you've been on it, or do you want it to be unlikely? Because that'll let us work out what the roll means. So is it
Semi-likely.
so semi-likely?
Semi-likely. So like
So like 8 or lower is a fail, and
something like
No.
12 or lower probably. Like
okay, it's up to you. Okay, let's say right. So DC 12.
likely to be like 10, right? Semi-likely.
That's a 50-50. Right. Okay. Okay.
So, anyway,
What are we going? What do you want then? Right. Okay.
11.
Okay. Right. So did we settle on 10 or 12? I'm now confused because obviously you're all 11.
I've been on it. I've not been on it. So,
Okay. Good. There we go. So what do you say to the guy?
not been on personally. The escort would be appreciated.
If I just realised the entire way we've ran Starfinder for the last 3 years is that method we've just used there, and it's great.
Or you know, I mean, like
Very improv-y, which is appropriate.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. Poison rules? Get the fuck with your poison rules. Sorry, you were saying, Zara.
the next goal will be fine. Or like map would be good. You know.
Quite. He kind of like chuckles to himself a bit. Says, "They'll be down to meet you shortly. See you soon."
Nod.
And then
Nod.
nods, and then shuts the comm off
That's
again.
fine.
Yeah. There's already a buzzing at the like the docking hatch.
Oh,
That was quick.
yeah. Off we go.
Alice like stands up and goes, "As the first of the officers, I should probably stay on board.
I would agree.
I also
Make
think
sure they
that
don't
we shouldn't
Tamper with anything.
wake up
Don't-
CC, and we should not mention Ivan."
I agree. I nod, and I'd make sure they don't tamper anything. Well, keep an
I
eye on them and see if they tamper with anything. But you probably shouldn't stop them because I don't think we could stop them.
am going to try and not let them find Finn.
Uh,
She just nods
That would
slowly.
also be beneficial.
He knows all of our secrets. Like that one time when I pretended to be pregnant, remember?
Yes.
I'm not
Yes.
sure they're likely to be too concerned about that, but you make
If
a
an
good
android
point.
was pregnant, that would be big news.
It was certainly news to me when you said it, and it was weird.
She
No,
looks so weird awkwardly when you say that. Like, definitely like slightly different coloured cheeks. And then looks away.
Captain, you want us to accompany you?
I mean, probably not. Maybe you can snuff something that I won't see, you know. Sniff something that I won't see, you know.
I thought you were going to suggest I kill someone, but
Sure fits,
I
right?
just nod to that and say like, I would be interested to see the inside of one of these.
Edgar looks around and goes, "I think I'll stay on board."
You sure? Do I see inside the sub-capital of the
It's like,
Viscarium?
I am inside
Oh.
it. And he looks out the window as if like, dear God, this thing's big. He looks back at you and goes, "Permission to remain aboard, Captain."
Granted.
He bows very dramatically.
Try and ensure they don't find. Yeah.
I will need access to that room then.
Oh, yeah.
Weird, can you random access quickly?
Finn.
Alice just like does that thing where she shakes her head slowly. No Finn.
No Finn.
No. Finn is still.
His condition is still.
Hmm.
A little bit loopy.
Have you worked out why yet?
Well, I thought I had, and then it didn't work, which meant I hadn't. So he's still broken.
I will go to a console then.
Okay.
I should go do that then.
I just want to just assign him.
Yep.
Access to the armory. Cool.
He can open door.
Yep, perfect. That's it. It's literally just the armory he needs access to anyway. So
That's literally all I'm giving him
Yep.
access to.
Good.
it's fine. It works
Not
for
be
me.
too trusting.
To be fair, it's quite trusting, right? It is. An
It
armory,
is.
but also this guy's a bit weird. Rainbow Shadow Demon monster. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Sure, if he was desperate to
gun,
get through, he probably
yeah.
could either way.
It's like, how much more dangerous can he be? But now he's a Rainbow Shadow Demon monster with a gun.
You know, I'm sure a gun would not make him less dangerous, but like I get the feeling that if he absolutely needed that bottom, he would just get through.
There's a great scene when it's either the Transformers movie or the Transformers cartoon. What the animated movie I mean specifically. Megatron holds a gun, and somebody says, "Look out, he's got a gun," but he has a giant gun arm and can transform into a gun. It's when he picks up a gun is when they say that, and
I
it's
said
so
a
good.
Megatron figure. It was the only Transformers toy I had, and he had a gun, and he did transform into a gun. And I was just like, why does he get a gun?
Because he can't hold himself apparently.
Yeah, he's got to get shitty Starscream to do that for him.
Yeah, which is just like when you're the boss and you transform into the gun that gets held by your pretty poor subordinate. There's something wrong with that.
And he turns into Galvatron and he's like, ha ha! Cannon!
Yeah.
And shoots Starscream.
Special.
I can't find it sadly. I thought it would be easier to find than it is proving to be, that scene, but oh well. You can all imagine it. It's very funny. So, who's all going? I take it Zig, Weird,
Yeah.
Lyco.
Yes.
Good. Are you taking anybody else despite the recommendations of Alice?
Nah.
I don't think so.
The immediate crew would basically.
Okay. And yeah,
And just for the record,
Mhm.
I am suited and fitted.
yeah, he's all going fully armed.
100%.
I am the guy.
Yes.
I don't want to disrespect the Vesk, you know.
That is maybe something that if somebody questioned that, I think you could easily say that. Zora, like that would be normal to be like fully armed because then it is like a mark of respect. Because I always loved that Babylon 5 reference of, well, we opened our gun ports to show there was nothing hidden between us. And they interpreted that as an act of war, so they shot at us. So, yeah, choice.
That whole story part, it was good, but let's not get any attention to Babylon.
Yes,
Too easy.
indeed. So, he's head to the door, or the docking bay, and yep, the door is you open it up, and there is 12 like Imperial Guard in like the fanciest dress uniforms, like the most ceremonial looking people there are in the Viscarium, like some kind of head to toe kind of platinumy silvery looking metals with like Nico, what's a good colour for the Vesk? Like for their material. What do you want them to be?
Fucking red or green, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Well, tell you what, roll. 1 for red, or odds for red, evens for green.
Cool. Slash.
Star Wars has taught me. I think Imperial Guards are used.
So it's red.
What's the odds?
Red.
Red, cool.
So yeah, they're looking more like Star Wars Royal Guard than anything else. So yeah, we got some very fancy red kind of adorned cape, kind of almost shoulder cape type numbers with their big kind of like silver pult or kind of again shiny pauldrons. And they've got very fancy looking kind of platinum looking doshkos as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And they are all clearly like Magitech as fuck is the technical term for like the doshkos. And as soon as like you make an appearance, they all do that fancy snap to and making a corridor of, as I said, 6 on either side as they step.
Zora like throws up in his mouth a tiny wee bit. Like it's too much pawns.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot of pomp and ceremony here, so like every day else you're kind of like seeing that this is the equivalent of like him being treated like royalty essentially as far as the Vesk are concerned. And yeah, you've got.
I think he's just realised he's became one of the people that he's like.
I used to, fight against the man.
Quite an entourage, Captain.
He would just see the screaming eye roll. It would echo.
In space, everybody can hear your eye rolls scream.
Oh, it echoes mentally, you see.
It was that's true. I've got mental speak that I need to remember about every single session. Like,
it's fine. Me and Colin are in 2 games now where rats give out mental telepathy, so it's fine.
That's actually true, weirdly enough.
Yeah. As opposed to verbal telepathy, which is my favourite.
Yeah, well, that exo telepathy, yeah.
Oh, yep. So good. Exo-verbally and endo-verbally, some of my finest work. So
being about 2 seconds.
Okay.
I need to go get a drink. Like,
Okay.
be quick.
Okay.
Died.
Like a hard drink, or
Like hard light. So, everybody, what's your impressions of the Viscarium thus far, given how much pomp they're showing the captain?
Damn.
You just spent a long time with the captain. You just know he's not like necessarily worth this.
Just say it.
I'm only saying that because Nico went away. Oh, you missed it,
I
Nico.
really had to get a drink.
So
Hello.
I said, so what's everyone else thinking about the amount of like pomp that the captain's been treated? Because you just spent a long time with him now. You just know he's not necessarily worth this, and it got a good laugh.
Wow.
There we have it. And I did follow up by saying, I'm only saying that because Nico's left. I literally came back. See, I'm going to own up to it. It was funny.
Wow, I'm definitely not worth it, but wow.
I mean, goblins, man. Fiends, sorry.
Fucking fiends. Mate, that was a lowly squib, right? Giving him again.
Big
Gobble fiends.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I think it'd be
Think
funny
about it.
if you got up to, like, Central Command, and it was just, like, 3 goblins in the Imperatrix trench coat.
I thought you were going to say like 3 goblins kidnapped the Imperatrix.
That'd be
I was like,
hilarious.
how did they even keep on doing this?
They've discovered the kidnapping drive, and that's it.
It's the ultimate kidnappers, like, the fucking, you can't stop them.
They in fact have to, otherwise the machine blows up. Every 24 hours they have to kidnap somebody. Oh dear. Anyway, besides weird variations of spin-off campaigns, right? So as you start walking in to the the 12 honor guard, I guess, they all just like march around you. So like 2 take the lead, 4 like mark the corners of the group, and then 2 follow up the back, and then you've got like another 2 behind again. That's 12 now, right? Good. That's maybe 10. I don't know. 4 in front, 4 around, 4 behind. There we go. There's the 12.
There's no way of knowing.
There is no way of knowing. There's just so many Vesk and so much red velvet.
It's a bit rowdied by Pob.
Yeah.
What about the circumstance, though? Where's that?
We're still looking for that, to be fair, and I think Alice is on the case at the moment. So,
Good.
yeah. She needed to do something to not be on this ship, let's face it, because that would be disastrous. Or indeed Cece. So, yeah. I suppose that's always your secret weapon, right? You could always
You
threaten
just
them.
throw easy at them.
Cece,
They
this
do
is
know
your
how to deal with them.
Yeah.
If they know how to deal with them, man, they're like, fuck, man, no one of these
The
guys
entire
again.
fleet just goes back to like Vesk 3 and drops it off and then comes back. Oh dear. Yep.
Just like Excalibur. Like, fucking...
Mhm. Yep.
So, we're done, boys. We're done, boys. You showed up, man. Fucking God.
So, you head up. It takes a good while to go through all of, the Merciless Blade docking area, which is like a small city, or a big city. Bits of it are reminiscent to, obviously, maybe the lower depths of Absalom. Yeah. In the sense of there's like it's clearly city vibed, not big spaceship vibed. If that makes sense. And then there's a lot of more scenic areas than you would think. Like there is very nice, like again, artificial parks and stuff within this. It is a very like nice place to be, surprisingly. It's a lot less militant looking on the surface than it seems to be once you like leave the more industrial area.
Surprising to. I mean, I suppose it shouldn't be, but it is a little surprising to me that they bother with park.
Yeah, right. Like it is probably a bit of an odd touch. And yeah, you head up to essentially like Central Command area, which is a bit more like militant complex. Got into kind of like the top end of the ship. Again, you're being walked through the ship. You can tell this, Zora. Like,
okay.
I think maybe it occurs to Lyko immediately that there is probably a more efficient way to do this because obviously you've had to deal with security on a few occasions.
Yeah, we're being either put on display or given the grand tour or both.
Yeah, it's definitely both because I don't think like that dignitary that laughed when he says, "Do you know the way?" or "Do you need an escort?" It was definitely a "I'll just give you the tour" type. You can see that now in hindsight, being like, "That guy's done this deliberately." He obviously doesn't necessarily think much of, the third in command of the Viscarium now. So yeah, and then a good while later. You eventually get to Central Command, massive military complex. At no point does MD bat an eyelid against your weaponry that any of you have. Like, a bunch of people on the way look at the group because you've got like a fully encased, large creature being weird. You've then got tiny reflective rat boy, and you've got that guy who was the attaché to a bone sage.
Yeah, I probably do have something of a reputation at this point.
Also, it's the fact that you're wearing
yes.
a grave mantle. That's
the spooky space armor probably is something of a giveaway.
Yeah, because the Visk have a fair bit of experience with bone sages. So yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, you head all the way through, making your way downtown, as it were. Get through the military complex, and you head into a Central Command, which again is more of a village, maybe almost edging on town level of like bunch of different complexes and buildings and sections, all kind of cordoned off. And in the center, there's like a massive like kind of a head to floor, or floor to ceiling, I guess, is a like holographic representation of the Pact World system that seems to be like suspended above where all the kind of workstations are, and it seems to be like highlighting loads of military tech. And this is like this room's maybe the size of like a kind of fairly average sized school gymnasium.
I attempt a perception on that to see if I can spot anything particularly alarming about it.
Yeah, why don't you roll perception and we'll see if there's anything gleaned from it.
It's a 30.
Yeah, so are you just trying to notice something that you weren't aware of? Is that pretty much it?
Basically anything that would suggest something about their moves into, because clearly, right, this ship hasn't been kicking around normally. There's clearly some sort of move going on into the Pact World, so anything that would be out of place, anything that wouldn't normally be there.
So, based on the amount of data that is projected above, it's kind of hard to work out. If you get, like, a legend for this, you'll be able to work it out much easier. But
yeah,
that will be like the second part of the puzzle. You've got part 1, if that makes sense so far, right? If you get part 2, I'll then translate all the good stuff for you. But essentially, you can see lots of like positionings of certain, icons. Lots around Triaxis, some around Eox, some obviously like keeping a fair distance away from Octurne. But there are like too many kind of icons all over the system to make sense of it, other than you can probably tell the ones that are Vesk ships, given how much are clustered around Triaxis. Yeah,
Okay.
and they're probably, big red Vs floating everywhere anyway, for sake of simplicity. So yeah, you've definitely got like a good chunk of data at a glance there. Don't know, was there anything specific you were trying to answer?
Basically, if I get the impression that this is an invasion, is the overall question. Like, is there such an influx of new Vesk ships at strategic points that it would look?
Given that you're not seeing any obvious signs of opposition ships, or there were a lot less ships opposing them than you thought there were. Right? So that's the
Yeah.
two things you're not sure about. But what you're looking at means they don't need to invade. They're already the dominant,
Yeah, they are
like,
here.
yeah. But it doesn't show anything that looks obviously Bone Sagey or Corpse Fleety or Stewardy. That's the only problem. Never mind the million other factors like the free merchants, the actual pirates themselves, the any of the elves essentially, the Kasathans, like the Hell Knights, the Pathfinder Society, etc. Blah blah blah, or the Starfinder Society, I should say, not the Pathfinder Society. That was a long time ago. So yeah, like there are a lot of factions in the galaxy, but there's primarily this is like clearly tracking like Vesk positioning, is what you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting.
And for a lot of it though, the concentration seems to be Triaxis. Again, far away from Octurne, but close enough to be that's their point of interest. And where Absalom would orbit. That's the 3 main focal sites of Vesk
Okay.
deployment. So,
That's interesting considering what we know.
but yeah, the orbit of Absalom, Triaxis, and Octurne. That, or it's just they wanted nicely positioned across the system. Who knows?
It's very suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
Sus as
Borderline
the youths
obvious.
are saying.
But maybe it's so obvious it's not true, right? But it's just
Yeah, and as you are like kind of gazing around, the honor guard kind of like split off to the sides, and you just basically stand in a row behind you. There's enough room for them to stand entirely across anyway, and say this place is pretty big. And a very quick kind of 2-stepping Vesk heads up, and it's the guy from the hologram. Quickly goes up and tilts his head ever so slightly to everybody else, and then salutes you by punching your shoulders.
okay. I give him a good
Mm-hmm.
thump back, like as per tradition.
Do you want to give me a wee strength check?
Let's do it.
It's that every time we've saluted, we've done that, haven't we? So there's definitely like you can tell there's a very casual nature to this guy as well.
I actually came across in the holo.
Mm-hmm.
Doink.
Oh
Oh my god, that's a terrible
yeah.
fight.
That's
Terrible.
So he has a good chuckle when you punch back, and he goes, "The Abyss. What do you think?" And he waves vaguely around at everything.
Very, very impressive. That's all the
Yes.
fuss about anyway.
Bunch of fancy lights is all it is. And then he goes, "Oboz is the name, by the way." And then he goes and like shakes everybody else's hand who offer, as he like very zealously greets the rest of the entourage.
Can I punch him?
It depends. Do you mean salute him or?
Yes.
Yeah, you could salute him. Yeah, do you want to give it a go?
I'll keep up my facade
Mhm.
of something.
So I think he like outstretches his hand. He goes, "Oboz," and he goes to nod at you. And, yep, let's see how ridiculous this is going to be.
16.
Not bad, not bad. I think as you do, he nods and then he punches back and you hear like the clank off the armor and it is like a good thud that you hear. And you kind of not. You get like probably more
I
respect.
say I had advantage on that. Let me just double check. 24.
Okay, yeah, definitely a lot stronger. And you get a definitive nod of respect out of this guy. But then somebody in power armor is obviously going to do quite well. Does that factor in your bonus from power armor as well?
Yes, although that was also 19 on the roll.
Yeah, that's good.
But yes.
And I think he looks at Zig, and he smiles, and he says, "You know, I've heard almost nothing about you, but you must be incredibly important."
I think Zig would just
There is no sign of like
just
sarcasm though in that tone, despite the way he's
Yeah.
dealt with Zora.
no, I think he would just kind of nod and
Just move so I can move the chair.
I guess put a hand out for a less vesky
Why not? It's an
greeting.
insult.
I mean, it'll be more insulting if I try to hit.
So yeah, he shakes your hand, and I
Can't be worse than my 5. I mean,
You know what? I'm just this just for okay. That was actually pretty good.
yeah, in the world where
But,
you had
yeah.
been brave, yeah.
But no, Zig is not. Zig knows best.
And kind of just nods to you, and then Lyko, okay, shakes your hand.
You know what Lyko is? How Lyko would he be about it?
Exactly as Lyko as he would be about it.
So what was the guy's name? Oboz? Again?
Oboz, yeah.
Oboz.
Oboz. Yep, Oboz.
I think he's gonna get.
Which is weird because it's a vest just giving you their name.
He's gonna get the full Lyko then, because he's been quite informal himself.
Mm-hmm.
Obaz, Quint, nice to meet you.
Isn't it such pleasantries? So nice to be meeting without our guns pointed at each other's faces, throats, backs, etc. It's quite novel.
Sure.
Kind of just nods enthusiastically, and then smiles, and says back to you, Zora. Goes, the Abyss. It is wonderful to have you on board. I'm sure many people think so now. Did you enjoy the tour?
yes, it was very lovely.
Fantastic. You may have noticed, no title yet. Still working on that, you see. Don't worry. I'm sure one will find its way to me, as it did you. Not that I'm saying you didn't earn yours, of course.
Are you saying I didn't earn mine?
He kind of he goes, "Oh, my apologies, Abyss, if you think so." And then he turns, and then he walks away, and he says, "Please follow me." And he's walking into like the belly of the beast, where there's just like like hundreds of people working.
Okay.
Yep, and then like
Wait for the captain to start going before I go.
Oh no, I'm following. I'll follow.
Yep.
I'll
The honor guard don't move; they just stay where they were. You head into the center of Central Command, and up from like a kind of a big kind of more kind of personal display, you see a very familiar, but this time in the flesh, Bogesh. He's there. He's got like his military jacket like unbuttoned at the top, kind of like the flap open, and he's sat there with like some kind of a very large metallic mug thing with like a space kind of like lid on it. There we go, space lid. And lying open, and he takes a big sip out of it, and then looks up, and then his big massive grin appears over his face, and he goes, "They told me you docked." He slams the mug down, stands up, and Sunday says, "Yes, but we need your signatures on this." He goes, "Yes, later." And then they very quickly just like back away, and he walks over. He says, "Abyss," with his hands out either side, with a big shitting grin on his face.
Grave Epoch Annihilator. Oh, so long-winded. It's so long-winded.
And that's kind of the point
That's
of
what's
it,
gone
right?
through his mind. That's what's gone through his mind, right? As
And
you
that's
say
everybody else's. And he just like goes in and just does a massive, Vesk bear hug, which is very not protocol.
Okay, that's too formal, but okay. I don't quite think we were at that stage yet, but yeah, sure, I'll hug him back.
I'm getting the feeling these guys are in a good mood.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
And
I mean, they probably think they've basically just got the packed worlds given them in a silver platter, which is kind of.
but you'd know that wouldn't make you happy though if there was no fight, because it wouldn't be earned,
True,
right?
true.
So that would be weird. I mean, Demogesh is like, that's like my retirement gift to myself, right? Yeah. I bought myself a little land, a couple of planets, a star. Fine. Lovely retirement system. But yeah, those things. You seem troubled, the Abyss. What's wrong? And you brought companions also. And he looks to everyone. Well,
I'm just wondering.
introduce yourselves, officers.
I'm just. Oh yeah, you better do your thing first. Introduce yourselves.
Who's going first?
Here's the I think you all hold the same rank, in fact. So yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay, so is security, engineering, or was it mysticism? Zig's role? Was that?
Mystic officer. Yes.
Okay, I'm security.
Yeah, I was gonna say security should go first.
Yeah, I think a simple nod and Lyco Quint, pleased to make your acquaintance.
He kind of looks at you, as if somebody looking at a disappointing meal would look at somebody. And says, he looks back at the Abyss and goes, "Your officers are poorly trained, it seems."
Well,
Chief Mystic Officer, that was Zig's role. Chief Engineer,
Yes.
Engineering Officer is Weird, and Chief Security Officer was Lyco. That's who you were.
I don't really hire them for etiquette.
Well, no, that's why they have you. And he laughs and then just like double fist punches you on the shoulders.
Do
you want to roll bluff? Do you?
No.
You should be good at it.
I'm not actually. I'm not. I dumped bluff. I did dump bluff.
It's fine. And,
I should have took it.
But yeah, what's the reply to that then? Is there a reply to that besides like fake laughing with him, or does Lyco have a reply to that, or?
I think he just has a raised eyebrow. It's about that, about the limit of it. But I'm not going to say anything. I'll let the captain speak.
I'll just give him a good old fucking like thump back. Oh my god, a 5 again is my game.
Yep. And I think Demogesh just laughs out loud and says, "I see time away from the Viscarium has made you soft. Or is it perhaps the Obsidian Star?" And he just gives you like a cheeky look.
No, I just didn't want to.
Yes, quite right. You might have messed up my uniform. And then he like folds in the flap and like does up the buttons very quickly.
Exactly, it's a
Just
really lovely uniform.
Chuckles to himself. And he says, "Officer, let's try that again, shall we?" He looks back at you, Lyco.
To see, not quite sure I'm following what he
Rank.
rank and etc. Very well.
Yeah, I would say that in brain speak actually. Like, sorry.
Okay, if you did that'd be handy. Listen, your best ways are aligned to.
Yeah.
Literally.
Chief Security Officer Lyco Quinn.
He kind of nods, and then he looks to the big armoured suit.
Does he want me to punch him?
See, that's what I was wondering.
Is that in brain
Yeah, that's
speak?
in brain speak. Yeah.
Well, I think when you speak in brain speak, it goes to everybody at the same time. So you'd have heard him say name and rank to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it goes to everybody at once. I think.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
So yeah, you'd been privy to that. So it depends. Are you just saying that to brain speak anyway?
So I heard he wanted rank. It was just whether he wants punching as well. So yeah, that's the brain speak.
Zara?
Probably not if he didn't punch you first. Maybe. I mean, with your respect.
Don't know. Demogash is a weird one.
Yeah, go for it. Go give him a punch. I mean, I'd like to see what he thinks of it.
I'll give him a punch and say, weird mechanic, weird chief engineering officer, and give him a big punch.
Yes.
Crit fail 6, better than captain. I am
That
following
really
suit.
matters.
I love how you say
Yeah.
that, but you're in power armor.
Yeah.
Like, yep, I love it.
I am holding back
That's why it was
because
still better than the captain.
Mhm. Love it.
I would not want to destroy his.
Yeah, it's fine
outfit.
outfit. Mhm.
Yeah.
And,
It's a lovely outfit.
and then yeah, like he'll nod and he'll punch you back. And then we'll look down at Zig again because there's probably quite a big height deficit.
Probably. And yeah, Zig would just look up and say, Zig, Chief Mystic Officer and Resident Medkit.
He smiles, looks at Zora, looks back down at Zig and goes, I love it. He puts like his hands out to the side. Translation, languages, all this new stuff. It's brilliant. Medkit. Of course you are.
Zig
He
just
just
nods.
he just
He
laughs.
just smiles and nods.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
You should speak to some of our experts. And he points vaguely at like about, maybe 100 people away. Like a big section of like people in, there's maybe a handful of them in lab coats and the other half in robes. And he goes, they'd be quite interested in someone of your expertise, I'm sure.
Noted.
And he kind of like looks back at Zara and kind of laughs. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry, I was giving an order. Go.
And then he runs.
Yeah.
He just goes. I'm not sticking around for
And he like nods. And then
Oh.
I assume you left some crew on board?
Yes, there's a few.
Perfect. So, you'll be wondering why you're here. And he turns and starts walking towards like the big display table.
Yeah, so wondering why we're here and why.
I can't quite hear you from so far away. Come. And he waves over his shoulder as he's walking away.
I'll follow.
I will follow and I'll raise my voice a little higher. Like, so I was wondering, like, why this is here as well. Yeah, I'd be swinging my finger a bit.
Well, first impressions and all.
Definitely a first impression, but shouldn't this be fighting the Swarm? That's the right name, isn't it? Is that the
Yeah,
right name?
that's right, yeah. You got it.
Yeah.
Yep. The war everybody knows is going on, but nobody talks about, yeah. And he goes, well, you see, there's been quite a development. I assume the usual protocol of hiring outside the Viscarum applies to your crew as well. If I don't like what they hear, I kill them.
Yeah, sure.
He nods. He goes, good.
Freeze diver.
There is like so you can read into he's still being really weirdly flippant, but he's maybe not being like untruthful. They probably do have people they've hired out as like external contractors and then just killed so it doesn't ever leave the Viscarium. So yeah, there's definitely that weird double-edged tone to that. That likely you can definitely pick
Oh
up
no, I
on.
took it as entirely serious.
Mhm. And but he is still being weirdly like
I
casual.
think it's pretty serious as well. I've seen it as like a pretty casual way of saying it, but I've seen it as serious.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen it
Well,
as
he
like a
doesn't
pretty
really-
serious.
He's in a position
Yeah.
where he doesn't exactly need to like explain himself, so yeah. And then he proceeds to explain himself. So he goes on to
I just consign these to death, by the way. I'm sorry about that, but I mean, yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
quicker conversation, isn't
In
it?
there.
Better to apologise and ask for permission or something along your lines.
He looks at the table and there's somebody like obviously operating the table and he goes, well, they're here, come on. And then they quickly tap in some data and then he says, in fact no, put it on the big one. And then he says, everybody look up, it's more impressive. And then the big kind of system map that fills the entire room kind of realigns and focuses on Octurn's orbit. And he says, "It seems like our Elibrian friend has taken interest on Octurne. And we intend to go say hello." And he just grins massively. Like, you're now realizing that was only a stage 1 grin you were ever getting from this guy.
Yeah, kind of it's like a stage 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow, it's aggressive. Stage 4 before you know it.
Yep. It's definitely aggressive, that's for sure.
and have you got a way of taking him on?
He smiles. He goes, "You're standing in it."
Vest Cubris, I would say in my heat.
Just to yourself or to the group?
Not and to the group.
Yeah.
To the group. To the group. Like it. I'm not saying this out loud. I don't like it.
And then he says, "Also, the other thing," as he says to the tech guy assisting him, and then like it zooms back out of the packed world, and it zooms all the way out of the packed system, and then you can see like, the Viscarium, and then you can see it like kind of relocate between the packed worlds, the Viscarium, and then the third location, which is like the front with the swarm. And it zooms away into there, and it brings up some very obvious Vesk iconography that says "Corpse Fleet."
The traded places.
And he grins and he says, "It seems like the negotiations have gone very smoothly with the one sage in charge of the Corpse Fleet, and allegiances have been made."
Oh, lovely. I would say on brain speak to everybody. So, well, we're in an alliance with the Bond Fleet now?
The Corpse Fleet. And then
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, Corpse Fleet.
And he goes, "We are in a temporary agreement as far as the Corpse Fleet and the Viscarium are concerned. I required more resources that I can trust here, and I'd rather the dead died than we did." And he looks to Lyko. And just
What's in it for
stares at him.
them?
"How very forward of you." And he smiles. "I like this in an officer." And he
He's my
says,
security officer.
"We shall see." And he just gives you like a grin, Lyko. And then he says, "As for what the Bone Sage wished of the swarm, I care not. Their dark sorceries are their own doing. But I am sure it lies in," and he waves vaguely, "increasing their numbers, most likely. And what better than weaponizing the swarm?"
Wait. Plan on using the swarm?
He grins even more. He goes, "Not at first, no. But I am using the swarm already. Just neither the Corpse Fleet nor the swarm know it." And he gestures again to like the map above you, like fills the room. The map's probably, maybe getting to the size of the ship you have, like maybe the half of the size of the ship you've got. And it is just him pointing to the fact that the bone, like the Corpse Fleet, have been reassigned to the front, where the swarm kind of front line's been drawn. And he kind of, that's his way of saying it. "Look, I've already did that. I'm using them." Just in case you want to read into that, yeah. He obviously doesn't care what the Corpse Fleet want out of that situation. He just knows the Corpse Fleet will die to that, which is not Vesk as far as he's concerned. And he says, "So you're probably wondering why you're here."
A nod.
He smiles and he says, Well, I thought you understood our agreement. You work for me. You shouldn't be wondering.
Yes.
You should be here, eager, with ambition.
Oh yes, of course, of course.
Or now that you've earned your title, are you comfy? And he looks at you like, oh, translation okay on that one?
Yeah, that works.
He grins. And he looks back at you, Zora, and says, I have a job that you may or may not like, but it needs done regardless. There's a war criminal, and he's brought to justice.
Okay. What criminal would this be? It's gonna be somebody we know.
It is 100% somebody you know.
Or
On
there'd be
the, on the personal
Okay.
table,
Oh,
on the personal table, not the massive room-filling display. He like motions over it with his arm and pushes a button on his wrist, and brings up an image of Matva Varalanellis.
Oh, right. I wouldn't have predicted that.
okay.
Big whole display of Matva's impressive stature, and Matva probably like looks bigger than both Zora and Tomogesh. Matva's a broad lady, and yeah, there's loads of charges listed in Vesk all around them, and they're very kind of aggressive looking symbology, and it says, as you can see, it is all legally sanctioned by the Imperatrix, and I figured, who best to send if not you?
I tell him like Big Boss here or something. You know,
Hey,
uh,
hey, you step off my infringements.
uh,
Hell gear.
well, Metal Gear. So what were some of the charges? I'd be looking at some of the charges.
So the ones that stand out are system-wide bioterrorism.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The goop.
That is the one that probably catches, because I think all of you speak Vesk now, right? So
Yeah.
that's probably the
Yeah.
one thing that it's maybe tricky if you've only recently learned Vesk. It's maybe a tricky one to translate, but yeah, system-wide bioterrorism is the main charge. There is probably about 20 other charges, but that's the main one that probably catches all of your eyes because of obvious reasons. Piracy is also listed, but that is a new Vesk word. Like, it probably looks most like the word piracy, whatever space common is. But yeah, like, piracy isn't really a thing in the Veskarium. There's who won and whose stuff it is. So yeah, that's another charge that's. You can tell just the very fact that piracy's been included. Tomogesh just approved anything that
Yeah.
could fit in the sheet.
It's a pretext. He's
100%.
throwing
Yeah, this is his rival. It's almost like, who's the perfect person he could put in their place?
Oh yes, of course. But well, does he know it?
But that's exactly why you're the best person for it, because that's the Veskest person you could be, right? Ambition.
I mean,
hmm
I don't want him, but I don't have ambition. No, I just don't want him in charge, right?
Right, but that's ambition
Like,
So yeah, you all see this. Obviously not Zig, but I'll get to you, Zig. Don't worry, in a second.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's. MD saying anything like at all in reply to that? Because it gives you time to read all the charges.
I think I'll sort of sound out bioterrorism in my best attempt at Vesk. Because I don't speak it much, although I hear
Yeah.
it quite a lot and read it
oh, a
occasionally.
terrible accent or something. But, like, yeah.
It's probably like one syllable at a time and with some effort, like he's not quite sure he's reading it right as he reads it.
Is there a performance skill? Because that could be a fun way of gauging how well it goes. Is there any skill that even remotely resembles that?
There's bluff.
It's not bluff though, because I am
Culture?
just reading it. I can roll culture
Huh?
if you like.
If there is not a better fit, yeah, I
Oh,
guess it's
God.
culture.
You know what? I'll roll culture.
Yep,
Because it is culture.
it is, right? It's.
Um,
God damn it.
Jesus God.
It's not bad.
Um,
Yeah, it's not bad. I think though, for like a complicated word, yeah, like I think you definitely can say, because obviously a 25 is a bare success. The fact that you get like just shy of the next qualified success. I'd say that yeah, you do fail the next qualified success. So it is probably like bad enough of esque that it makes sense for what you're describing. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I will. Yeah, he sort of has his mouth in that. There's a look at his face which is indicating recognition. Is what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of look over to the captain, having said that.
He would nod. He'd be nodding. Yeah. So, any idea where we can actually find said terrorist system bioterrorist?
Okay, just looks at it and he smiles and goes, "Where would be the fun if I gave you all the answers? You're the hunter now, the abyss. Go, get your prey. And look at what I bring to you. This was not some digital message sent like I would be well within my rights to. I am upholding my end of our agreement."
Digital messages serve most people well.
And he kind of like, his eyes look at you, but he doesn't say anything. He looks back at Zora. And he waves vaguely behind Zora. The honor guard not to your liking?
A little much.
And he just laughs. And he says, "You wanted to be special. I am merely honouring the terms of the agreement." And he just chuckles. Like, he knows that was going to be a bit much. You can tell that. Like, he's clearly just been like, yeah. Make as much effort now so he doesn't have to make any effort at all again. And he says, "Or are you not quite up to the task of taking down your former mentor?"
No. Be quite enjoyable, actually.
He grins again, like a self-satisfied grin. He says, "This is exactly what I wanted to hear. I care not if they're dead or alive, but I want the body recovered."
Can I ask when you plan on assaulting Octon?
And he grins and says, "When all other matters have been attended to." And he waves vaguely at the top map again, and then it zooms away out from like the Viscarium front, and it zooms away back out, and then away back into like the Pact World system that just displays the whole system again as it starts to orbit normally.
See if there's like wee bullet points in like each planet, you know, where there are matters that need to be attended.
You're just seeing the same information that Lyko saw, like the Vest fleet formations around like the orbit of Absalom Station.
Key
Keep in mind
locations.
Keep in mind when I say orbit, I don't mean the static map we have as the main screen here. It's the ring of the orbit. Like there are Vesk ships spread out as if searching.
They're everywhere.
Whereas the ones around Octurn are keeping a distance from Octurn, but they're clearly next to the planet. They're just not in orbit of it. They're just keeping their distance by quite a bit. Almost as if either a forward operating base or just surveillance, for example. And as I said, most of the fleet are at Triaxis.
I only ask because I've taken an interest in this Urglass. I would like to be a part of it.
He grins. I see you have good intelligence then.
Yes.
He just chuckles.
Mainly.
He says, "Do you care to share your resources with the Viscarian war effort, or are they yours alone?"
Unfortunately, he's dead.
Who are you talking about?
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm just saying his deeds right. I mean,
Well, do you want to roll bluff?
Okay. I mean, I guess that is kind of both right because there was an source of.
There were several.
It's why I was asking.
Yeah.
But if you're just saying, I don't know, that's a bluff check, please.
There was also like an ex-associate of Aspis, but like he's kind of like gone.
How many bluff checks are you ranking up here, Nico? Right, let's just have the first one.
5. 5.
Why are you doing this to yourself?
It's Nico. He's not had a chance to roll this often in a while.
Well, was I going to say? I mean, like, it's got to be a bluff regardless. I'm going to tell a lie or tell the truth. Like,
I mean, I feel like telling the truth isn't a bluff, though.
Yeah, if you tell the truth and do it diplomatically, you can probably get away with not giving him too much.
yeah, I mean,
Verbal acrobatics is sometimes the most fun. Mm-hmm.
nimble acrobatics is definitely some of the most fun. I mean, we've got
Let's go back a bit. Let's rewind a bit to the part where it says,
Rewind,
"Are your
rewind,
sources
right,
for you alone, or are you going to share them with the war effort?" There we go. We're back in that moment. What are you answering?
we used to know a ex Aspis employee that would know.
Size. Used to know.
Mhm.
Did you forget him?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of vanished.
Okay, that's still a bluff check, though. You know that.
Oh, but it's still a bluff check, but we don't need
He's
to.
he's on your ship right now.
I know,
inside
but I
the
don't need to
Merciless
specifically
blades.
say him, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I
I don't
mean,
need to specifically say it's him. That man.
You don't need to say who it is, but you are lying, right? So, yeah. I think the phrase "used to know" is the lie.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So, are you still trying
Yes,
to
we
mislead
know.
him now, or do you want to go back and do the conversation again?
Oh no, we'll just
Okay,
say
that's
we
fine.
we know an Aspis employee, an ex-Aspis employee.
Okay. So you're saying that part, right? That's fine. If you're saying that part, that's not a bluff yet.
Yeah.
Okay. If that's all. If that's the core of the context, it's just we know an ex-Aspis employee. He goes, "How very curious." An ex-Aspis employee. You do realise that Aspis are implicated in the crimes Matva is charged with.
Well, it's good to know you. Good to know everybody in these parts, and I'll just wave towards the system map.
He says, he looks like more
Yeah,
so with
only.
his eyes up and then back down, and he kind of just chuckles. You can tell with a kind of like half-hearted chuckle that he does. He definitely doesn't agree. And he says, "I have found some useful allies in this system I was not expecting." And he chuckles again. It's a chuckle of insincerity. And then he says, "You're dismissed, by the way. Feel free to gather what intelligence you need to," and he waves vaguely, "while taking in the sights, perhaps. It is good for morale if you are seen."
Odd.
I will
I hate
return your officer to you when I am done. So do not leave.
I would nod again. So I'll leave with his like
Okay.
my brain fry him. No, that's fine.
He looks towards Lyco and Weird and says, "You are both dismissed also. It was interesting meeting you."
I'll give him a nod and should I use Grave Epoch Annihilator, isn't it?
So that
Yes.
that is the respectful term. He is calling Matva deliberately because he doesn't respect her.
What's his term again? Sorry, what's
So
his?
the Grave Epoch Annihilator is his title.
It's him. Yeah.
Yep. And his name is Demogesh. That's what he was born called.
Mogesh,
Mhm.
I'm just clarifying because it's hard to keep the title straight sometimes.
Yeah, and you wouldn't call him Demogesh the Grave Epoch Annihilator. You would just call
You
him
would just call him
the Grave Epoch Annihilator. Yeah.
I suppose I would just give him a nod, a slight bow almost, right? It's a respectful nod. And Grave Epoch Annihilator.
He just grins at that.
Odd job. Somebody needs to get a good dig in, man.
I think that the tone here is definitely "you can now leave. He's done." Like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll go like
I'll follow the captain's lead.
Yeah.
yes.
Likewise.
I will go to vaguely where some console that I can get intelligence via, because that sounds good.
when you're in a room full of about 300 consoles. So
Yeah, exactly. So let's go. Let's go.
just like head up to the corner or something and just find I don't know, like some random section. Let's see. See if I can get something. Is this gonna work or is this not gonna work? Nah, damn it. That's just not what I was looking for. I was hoping I could get like some kind of random ship part generator. So I could find out what set of consoles you went to, but I was only getting random ship name generators and random like ship designation generators. I was like, well, those are both cool, but not needed right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, you head over to a section of that, but I'll come back to you guys in a wee second. So Zig, all the way over at you, buddy.
Hello.
And it probably takes you a wee while to get to where you're going, but you obviously hear all the head speak that goes on. It's probably not exactly less
Yes.
disconcerting. And then, like, very few people are even like acknowledging you in the sense that people are like busy, right? This is a very busy room.
Okay, yeah.
And then you get up to like a kind of like a kind of weird raised platform. And as you head up the steps into it, as I said, there's a whole bunch of different people, and this looks like the difference between like science versus religion, the argument with the Vesk people playing the theatre part, and they all like immediately stop and look at you as you walk in.
Greetings, all.
And then they all look at you,
Nods.
and then they all like go back, and then they all just start arguing again.
Is it quite hard to make out?
It's all in
Is it
Vesk.
like loads of people are?
You speak Vesk, yeah?
I do speak Vesk. Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone speaks Vesk these
And-
days.
and-
It's the new language.
Yeah, it seems like it's going that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially in this system. And their culture rating is spreading very far. And yeah. How good is your Vesk, would you say? Do you think you could keep up with like a heated argument level of communication?
I reckon. I think I could get a gist
Yeah.
from like a heated argument, but I don't think you'd get like a perfect translation.
So the debate is, you can definitely hear the term Illibrian used a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The folly of the Eoxians comes up, and Octurn and its purpose. There is what you glean from the argument. And the two sides of the argument seem to be, let me very, very flippantly surmise it, because it isn't this, but this is as good a translation as you're probably going to get at the moment, is Octurn going to be a giant space gun so they can reenact vengeance from beyond the grave, or is it going to be some mystical bomb? And that's the argument between the scientists and the mystics.
Okay.
Right? And as you're like standing just kind of half ignored as like, this room full of experts, as it were, start arguing with each other. And then one of the lab coat techie type people turns to you and then says to you in Vesk, or, and they say or, they use a space common, whatever that's actually called.
Yeah.
Bomber.
I think Zig would say in Vesk. A little bit of Vesk.
And nods and smiles, and then he says, "So, why are you here?" And he's kind of like half whispering that, so as not to interrupt the rabble.
Yeah. Zig would like match his like level, like volume, and just say Epoch, was it Epoch?
The Grave Epoch
Annihilator.
Mhm.
Yeah. He asked me to, told me to come here and speak with, and then just kind of wave at everybody.
Wow. Give me a second. Okay. And then he says, or sorry, they say, sorry. And why is that?
I just told him. Well, I guess Zig would introduce himself. I'm Zig, the Abyss's chief mystic officer slash med.
He chuckles and he goes, Zig? Really? They reduced you to a medkit? And he looks and he goes, is it because you're small? Or are you also a doctor?
I have some degree of medical knowledge, but my name is actually Zig.
Before you met the Abyss?
Indeed.
How odd.
A happy coincidence.
And then they chuckle. You're noticing as well, this vest has the same kind of bluish colourings as a Zora as well. Same blue tints, which usually indicates female. Which is why Zora was teased when he was younger. But yeah. And then they go, well, I'm untitled as yet, but my name is Demadvin. And I'll type that for you all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The Mad Vin.
Demadvin.
The Mad Vin.
And his buddy, the Loopy Dane.
The Livy Dame.
You can use whatever you want.
I do. I don't need it. I don't need it.
Oh,
No, but thank you. But thank you. So, introduce themselves very kind of very politely. I think you can tell as well. There's a lot more kind of social grace to this Vesk than any you've ever met, probably.
Yeah.
And they say, so if you're the chief mystic officer for the Abyss, that means you must know your stuff, then.
I know a thing or two.
They smile and they say, well, our current dilemma is about the purposes that the Librian has with Octurne.
Yes.
Your thoughts? I would keep them quiet for now, if not to it, because there's still the loud Vesk shouting going on at the side.
Okay, quietly.
Because this is like this facility, if you will, this kind of like, you know, slightly more private research facility in the middle of this gymnasium, as it were, was like it's probably got about 16 angry shouting Vesk in it, you know. So it is.
Okay, yes.
Yeah,
So it's not
busy.
going to be too difficult to.
Yeah, it's really not difficult.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think Zig would say, well, I have it on good authority. The Librian is attempting to either wipe out I guess, current state of the Oxians. Or indeed do some sort of weird time wankery and put it back to the way it was.
Sorry, I didn't
Good
quite
point.
catch that last word. The translation must be a bit off. Something about self-pleasuring?
Sorry, excuse my my rudeness. Time meddling.
They laugh. I see. So you're a temporal expert.
Expert? No.
They laugh. I go, don't let any of them hear you say that. My expertise is in Xenodruidry. I am a Xenodruid myself. I can also say Xenodruidry. There we go. We got it there. Don't worry, we'll use that tape.
Oh, nice.
So they kind of nod and goes, I am a doctor of sorts, as it were, but I figured if I am a mystic, but at least wear a lab coat, they'd either will both shout at me or nobody will shout at me, so luckily nobody's shouting at me yet. They kind of give you like a wink.
Well, I continue to keep everything crossed for the latter for you.
Oh no, I like a good argument. They give you like a kind of toothy, sharp-toothed grin. Because you're still dealing with a Vesk here, obviously.
That's
And,
true, yeah.
And they say, I would love to have studied temporal mechanics, but I just never found the time. And they just stare you dead straight in the eye.
I think Zig, I think
That
Zig does
was-
just kind of burst out with a bit of a decent chuckle there.
And then they quickly shush you. And then they quickly look over at the group. Like, a couple of the group look over, annoyed that they've been interrupted by like laughter. And then carry on shouting at each other. And I
So,
yeah.
Is this how every sort of discussion, sort of two factions just shouting at
Well, this is day 5 of where I'm paid to sit on my ass and watch them act like children. So I am actually okay with this so far. But there's so many other things I would like to do right now. Some of the labs downstairs have way more interesting things than this going on that I would like to be involved in, but because of my rank, sadly, I'm here. And, well, quitting isn't part of the Viscarium, so I can't, sadly, demote myself. And just give like a kind of tight-lipped, oh well, sucks to be me, look.
Oh,
Aw.
wonder if we can request to keep him.
Can we keep him? Can we have a pet vest?
And,
Captain Admiral, can we have this one?
what's another NPC, right? Fucking hell.
I mean,
yeah.
I could just like see if I buy him. Can I?
Yeah,
I
sure.
got points to spend,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, I mean, I don't even think you have to invent this one, so this one comes pre-invented, right?
That's kind of
The one thing I will tell you though is this is a female Vesk, just so you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely a female Vesk.
I got that.
Yeah. Just like Vesk interest in gender is so unnecessary versus the fact that the women are just bigger and stronger naturally. And as we discussed, they don't use amphetamines of any kind or drug enhancement for performance boosts, etc. Because that would be very un-Vesk publicly. So
I think I would. I guess brain speak. Just asking. How much
Is that dog in the window?
information should we share regarding Ergolas? Team Vesk over here.
I mean, if they kill him, it's a good thing.
Yes, but won't they make allies with him looking at their current behaviour?
I don't think that would even be on the table.
like,
Do you think it would be on the table?
So Zora, like the impression you got was that Demogesh himself seemed like he'd wear a cowboy hat and straddle the Merciless blade into Urgalas's face if it helped the war cause. That's the impression you got from both his mood and the fact that he has the Merciless blade at his disposal. That is very much the impression
I
I
have a
got.
feeling that Urgalas really wants this fight.
You mean Demogesh?
Yeah, that's the one.
Don't think
That's
Urgalas
the
wants
one.
this fight. Urgalas gives a fuck about this fight.
Yeah, Urgalas goes no fuck.
Probably just more of a upcoming inconvenience. Okay, well, I guess I would turn to him and say, turn to her and say, like show you what I know of Urgala?
You know, by all means. Do you wish me to get the attention of the others?
That's a good question. Sure.
Don't.
This is going to end terribly.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck it. You do you.
Yeah, don't worry, you're in a different part of the ship now, it's fine. So, Demadvin stands up and claps her vest hands together, and all the plant samples around the room just like emit horrible screeching noises.
Oh lord.
And it just immediately all the Vesk start like grabbing like their ears, like the kind of like privacy glass around the kind of makeshift kind of research pod that's in the room. Is like cracking, and then it all kind of like stops, and then she smiles and says, "So Medkit has something to say," and stands to the side and reveals 3.5-foot Zig.
Hi all, Chief Mystical Officer Zig. And I guess he kind of.
There's definitely a look on some of their faces where some don't care, others are waiting for you to get to the point, and some are like, "Kit, Chief, Sir Met," like because obviously the translation. So there's definitely that, like your name having, you know, a Vesk word is definitely hit a couple of them, but most just seem impatient.
I have
This man.
information on Urgalas, and sort of, I guess the easiest way for me to share this is
One of the lab coat says, "We prefer the designation the Librian," and then like Advin just like puts like a big hand up and it's just like, let him finish.
I guess he could. I guess Zig kind of just like half nods at the heckler, and yeah, the sort of easiest way for me to kind of share this information is to mind link and info dump said information to one or multiple of you. Yeah, and then he kind of scratches the back of his head and kind of looks at this, like, I guess what was it, like 100 odd ish?
What, the room? As in, like the
Yeah.
like the facility that you're in, or the specific like research pod that's housing like.
Oh, the specific research pod.
So
yeah.
there's 16 Vesk that were shouting at each other, half lab coat, half robed, and then there was the one you were talking to, Madvin, and then there was you. There were like 18 people in this immediate research pod, but this is like a pod that seems to have been like put into this place, like it's modular in itself.
Yeah.
Cool. This has been moved here so that like Demogish has like experts on hand in his command center.
And he can just move them around as he needs.
Yeah. He's basically purpose-built the command center, whereas the bridge of this ship's probably elsewhere. He's just built himself a room full of everything nearby, so he doesn't have to walk very far. Yeah.
Makes sense. I can appreciate that.
Yeah. So, yeah. And as you say that about obviously like mind linking, one of the older looking Vesk, like walks forward. He's one of the ones wearing robes, and he's got like some kind of a big fancy looking. Clearly, it's a doshko, but it also looks like a staff.
Yeah.
And it's got some like kind of mystical runes carved all the way down it, that all kind of like hum with energy. And he says, "We have ways of amplifying this mind link. If you wish to, you can share it with us all at once."
That, I guess, would be the most efficient.
Can your frame withstand the turbulence?
I'll be fine.
I think Zig kind of quickly goes through all these horrific events from the past.
It will be worse for them. Don't worry.
The worst that's going to happen is I'm going to kill all the Vesk, and then we're going to have a problem. So, yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Or a start.
Wow. Genocide starts. Oh no, wait.
I think Zig would just say, make sure everyone is willing to participate. to the old guy.
He kind of like looks around at everybody, confused at the question. He goes, "We are all part of the Viscera, and we all do our duty." Just
Yes.
that's almost like
course.
regimented the way he said that.
Yeah, I think yeah. To just
Mhm.
be, oh, sorry, forgive my ignorance.
We are about to embrace your ignorance. I hope it is found wanting. And he stamps his staff on the ground just as if make a point. But there's no reason to it. It just seems like an arsey thing to do. And then
Yeah, makes sense.
he turns around and then like motions. As his like tail makes the back of his robes like slither back and forth. And then he like walks into the middle of the group, and then everybody seems to like assemble around, and all the kind of like the mystics of the group seem to like intermingle with the scientists, and then it is some big kind of weird ritualistic circle. And then
Living my dream.
right, Team Mystic Circle jerk. And yeah, you head in, and then Demadvin takes their place next to the guy. So it's Demadvin as what seems like a mystic, and then between old guy mystic and Demadvin is your spot.
Excellent.
So you head up, and then they say you'll be channeling your connection to everyone present, not merely a singular recipient, as you may only be familiar with. This will require a significant amount of energy, both exiting and coursing through you, and it can cause some lesser frames to buckle.
Understand?
You will have to remove your attachments, and he waves vaguely at your shiny armor, for this to have more success.
I guess Zig comply. Yeah.
If you are of a timid nature, we can provide clothing.
I think Zig just waves him off.
Yeah, like there's clearly just
It
a
doesn't
I don't
matter.
have time for this. Just let's hurry up. This is a scientific and mystic
Yeah.
undertaking, not a no need to be embarrassed here. You're
Yeah,
already
let's
called
face
medkit.
it, like
We've
in a
already
room
dealt
full
with
of
it.
vesks, I don't have anything physically to prove.
Yeah, exactly.
I know I'm the physical inferior.
You're the
in this
Isoki in a room of vesks. We know.
Yes.
Roll 34, just saying. So, yeah, you've got that. You disrobe, as it were. And then, yeah, you're made part of the circle. And, yeah, how do you want to do this, buddy?
I think he'll just kind of close his eyes and, as normal, do his like like a countdown in his head, and just kind of release almost everything Ergolas related, excluding the fact that Zig is in possession of and knows about like egg stuff.
So, are you deleting the vault conversation, then? Or are you adding in any of that?
I'm adding in most of that, apart from him saying that, why is my scent all over the egg and stuff.
Mhm. So, basically deleting egg.
Stuff is out.
You're
Yeah.
excluding them.
I am being very exclusive of that. And,
Perfect.
I don't know if he'll ever come up in any of that, but also delete what's his face, Bone Sage Man.
Oh, Sindel.
Yeah, don't make connection with him.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I wouldn't put anything that would incriminate us best
Mhm.
for fraternizing with the bone sages.
So, yeah. So, deleting Sindel, deleting egg-related conversation, but everything else, and mind linking.
Say that at some point and Breed speak. Oh yeah, can you leave it Sindel, please? Better tell him that. Yeah, just to flat. It's still better.
I mean, thing is though, like Zig could easily have thought of that as well. Like there is a lot probably that goes through Zig's head that probably never goes through Callum's head week to week. Let's face it, which
That's
is probably
true.
for the best.
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
So,
it's probably what keeps Zig sane and Callum sane.
keeping them separate entities, and God, That's terrible. So, yeah, that happens. Can you make a fort save for me?
Do my best.
Yeah.
Not my best. But badoo. Not great.
Yeah. Yeah. See that stamina that you had?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's gone. All of it.
Okay, I'll get rid of that.
Just all of it. Yeah. It just completely burns you out. You're kind of... The room is hard to see because of how bright you're glowing because of this. Like this seems to have like ticked a whole bunch of like magical buttons at once. You're kind of like no longer touching the ground as well. And after like the fatigue hits you, you like slowly drift back to the floor. The glow slowly dissipates around the room. And then you just hear like a massive wave of muttering that goes right back into like full-on argument. Again, between everybody. Mostly you're hearing people say, this proves my point of view. No, actually, it disproves this, and blah, blah, blah. It just went straight back into full-on argument.
Yeah. Expected, that's fine.
And then you hear, you feel a big mighty pat on the back that you probably were not ready for, given how winded you are.
Not.
And you're basically like picked up and righted and put on your feet. And then, as you wobble, you like feel the boundaries of a hand in front of you and behind you. And you hear, come back to me, buddy.
I think like Zig would probably kind of like,
It is Madvin's voice you're hearing.
Take a huge deep breath and try and kind of control his breathing. And
They probably say medkit, not buddy, as well. Come back to me, medkit.
And I guess kind of look up, trying to focus on where the voice is coming from as opposed to anything else just blocking out the shouting.
Yeah, and as you're kind of coming to, you see the big smiling to Madvin's face. Like, you really weren't kidding about time, were you?
It's messy. I think he kind of like rub his eyes a bit. Say, ooh, 20 odd hits a lot harder than one.
Kind of nods and says, "You did well. You didn't explode like the last guy." Gives you like a big thumbs up.
I think Sig nervously laughs.
They laugh and go, "Yeah, we used to be over in that pod." And they just thumb over to like another like identical looking pod building. And then they just laugh and they kind of like shake you by the shoulder and go, "I'm kidding. We do joke,
Oh.
Not often,
I did
mind
wonder.
you." As they like think to themselves. Well, the plants
I'm
are
a
funny.
joker, man. I'm a total joker.
Yeah.
With that.
Yep.
Yeah, but I've like my experience of Vesk and experience of Zora are
Different
worlds
times.
apart.
Yeah. Literally, and a lot of times.
Feeling attacked, yeah.
Yeah. You're a Vesk, you always feel attacked. So
It's true.
yeah.
It's true.
And they go,
The Madvin's like the closest to the cap I think I've got so far.
Mhm.
The Viscarium.
easy. And yeah. I say, you look like you could use something to eat. Let's see if we can find some thing that you won't throw up to get you your strength back. And then
I think
they just like
almost
start
anything.
walking out the room. And then as they start to walk out the room, they go to like the entrance bay to the research pod, and they turn around and just like snap their fingers again to like have that whine go back up to shut everybody up. And they say, "I'm taking the medkit to get checked out. Yous can fill me in when I get back. Try and have one answer or two at most. And of this, nobody can make up their minds who's smarter. Bullshit." And then whatever the translation of bullshit is for Vesk to common, that's fine. But all that said in Vesk anyway. The Vesk speak Vesk to each other, of course. And then look back down at you and say, "Well, that bot is at least an hour."
I think Zig would just smirk.
Yep. So,
Or like muster up as much of a smirk as he can, and then he feels pretty shit.
yeah. I think they can tell that, and like, I mean, you know yourself from like having, say, looked over a Xenodruid before. You can tell roughly this person's like-minded enough in Zig's like understanding of people's like pain, etc. But yeah, this person's clearly a bit more empathetic to suffering than the other people in that room. They've clearly got like head explode moves as opposed to, healing moves. Excuse me. And yeah, you're led away, like you're led entirely out, like almost like to like a kind of like a Vesk platform that you would like stand on. I'd say Vesk really redundantly there, but a platform you stand on that's essentially like a golf cart that takes you to like, seemingly miles away super quickly on some kind of levitation rail, and you're in yourself like a big canteen area, or like a bunch of soldiers seem to be. And Demadvin says, I find eating in this particular canteen, less people speak to you when you wear a lab coat, which is great. And they motion towards the canteen area. And there is like not a sign of anybody above a certain rank. Everybody looks like they're just here to eat and go on their business. Very, as I said, regimented soldier type barracks.
Perfect.
And she smiles back at you. We cut back to the others, and we have you've been escorted out. You've been asked to take the scenic route, and you pass a familiar face in the corridor. So you look up, and Lyko probably notices instantaneously, but wearing the vaguest term of Vesk civilian spacewear, which is essentially just like generic spacesuit, is Sindile.
Okay.
Which is exactly why I put that asterisk when you mentioned their name. Because I was like, that's funny that you would mention Sindile, given who else I know is on board.
Yeah.
And they're just walking towards you, like their hands in the pockets of the spacesuit. Like it probably looks really weird, given
howling. In a wait, what? I mean, it's not that surprising that he's here because he's him. But
and was aware of any head speak yous I've ever said. Yeah.
And
then he kind of grins and goes, Lyko. Others.
Yeah.
And that's how he introduces himself. Lyko and others.
Weird.
He nods. Yes. Can we speak privately? And he motions to a wall.
I'll walk to
Shrug.
You can if you want.
Private? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can if you want. I have no idea what's on the other side of it, but probably some control room of some sorts, right? And a bunch of them just go, invest, like, leave? Just very confusedly.
I'm sorry, I made a wrong turn. As I step back out.
Yeah. And the two of them just look at each other. And then we cut back to the corridor outside. And then Sindale turns to the wall and goes, No, the door is not here. And then turns around and, like, as if just realizing where he is for the first time. Do you have somewhere private we can speak?
The ship? But it'll take us a minute to get there.
He looks confused. And he goes, Which ship?
The final hour? Our ship? The captain's ship?
Yes. The ship I was last on.
Sure.
Perfect. Come. And then these are all like teleported. So you end up on the Azure Flare. So these are all in the dining room of the Azure Flare. Cecil is very annoyed.
Okay, yeah, this was... There may have been some confusion.
This is not
but we can...
private?
It's certainly private. I suppose we should conduct our conversation before we return.
Yes. So. And he looks at you, and then looks at Zora, and then looks at Weird, as if waiting for you to talk.
You were on board the major Vesk ship?
Yes, I have taken over the Tectalanus duties, as it were, as I have reclaimed part responsibility from Rama Sethu.
See.
She wished nothing of the Viscarium, and I have found use for them. Grins.
You were involved in this decision with the corpse fleet.
Ah! He gets very excited. He goes into like his jumpsuit. He's wearing his spacesuit and pulls out the glass and sits in front of you. It's doing much better. It's completely like, it looks brand new.
I see that.
And he smiles like very excitedly as if he's showing you like his kid who's like achieved something. And then he like holds it up and looks at it very like proud and sets it back on the table. But yes, I have found a way of making problems disappear. Much like the cup.
I was wondering why they would have agreed to.
Well, they didn't. My advisory capacity as a former Bone Sage has allowed me certain leeway between the Eternal Convocation rule set and the Viscarium distaste for my former kind. And kind of like looks confused because it's probably the most coherent he's ever been for the longest period of time. Just smiles.
What's your end goal? I mean, obviously, this gets the bone sages, the corpse fleet out of the system temporarily.
He grins when you say that, and then he looks at Zora, and he smiles, and he says, "It seems you're..." And he like looks at you, like does like a pyramid with his fingers, and then he goes, "Yes, you're of that. Is very eager to be seen more than achieved." Nods and smiles.
So, I'm guessing he means double gash.
Yeah,
I mean,
like that's yeah. Yes. It was very easy to convince yours to be misguided, short-sighted. The Vesk resources to distract Urgalas, while the corpse fleet off away do not present a problem for the weakened packed world. Nods.
Mark.
It is for the greater good, and he gives a big creepy smile at that, if he's proud of himself.
They seem confident, though.
And he goes,
have you given them some reason to
he
believe
smirks and
they
goes,
can...
"Yes, better to go into your death confidently. Better chance of success."
Sure.
And then he looks at you
So you
confused.
don't think they've got a chance since going into your death and all?
He laughs and he goes, "Death was not the end for me. Why would it be for them?"
Don't think we quite work the same
No,
way.
and that's maybe why you will work in this situation, where we did not in ours. He nods again.
We never quite worked against you guys.
You have never fought an Elypian, merely Bone Sages. Very different.
Power.
Points at Lycos, and as Lycos starts explaining anything, he just says, "See?" He agrees.
Power is affecting dead differently, right? It's like his influence over them wouldn't necessarily extend to.
You see him
He may
pressing
be
buttons
less
on the
of a
table
threat.
immediately. Like as soon as Lyco starts playing, he starts pushing buttons on the table in the dining room, and then like two different like a cup of tea and then a cup of water come up, and he sits them in front of you, Zora. He goes, Bone Sages drink tea, Elybrian drink water. He just nods at you and puts them in each of your hands.
I'll drink a tea and that's kind of boring.
He nods. He nods. And then goes, but you drink all the tea, Bone Sages, no more tea. Elybrian has old water still. You see? Yours have fought, Bone Sage tea. I feel like I'm drifting into Fleabite's voice here. It's going
Fine.
badly.
I get it. We're good.
Yep. And yeah, he's like looking at you, like nodding, as if, do you get this? Like, tea and water, they're very different.
I'm nodding.
Whereas,
So they may be more able against the Elybrian.
nods.
Okay.
Unlikely, but worth a try. At least that way less Vesk to cause problems for the stewards.
I looked briefly to the captain and with an eye, with a glance that perhaps, if he's observant, would convey a sense of apology. And he does say, yeah, he sort of would nod in agreement, turn right round and nod in agreement to to
Sindel.
Sindel.
And he nods and he goes, I understand your kin not so fond of losing, but I am reason Pact World's document was signed initially.
Okay.
He nods. Peace is the way forward.
Certainly.
He grins creepily. And he says, also, Swarm and Corpse Fleet, good match. I am
Good.
not so concerned with how that turns out. Merely something to occupy the other.
What's all this malarkey about using the swarm? I would.
Seemingly endless supply of new troops.
Kind of like Cox is saying this. Using the swarm against the Corpse Fleet. You mean my suggestion to pull?
No.
And he puts his hand up and he goes, "No, my suggestion to convince your," and he does the pyramid shape again, to pull back. Vesk do not retreat eagerly.
It's true.
And it says, your, and he does the pyramid motion again, saw great wisdom in making Corpse Fleet die in place of Vesk.
Much better pyramid motion to give up a pocket.
Right?
Later.
Yeah.
So much easier to say.
Yeah. Like, if saying the wrong name is insulting, Sindel's not even using a term for him, he's just making, like,
It's
you know.
like pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
pyramid scheme fucking went no.
And, he nods and he says, so, while cunning on my part, it seems gratuitous on, does the pyramid again, his part. He can claim glory in this system when none await him. This way, we all win. Or at least the least of us lose. And he smiles, he leans back in the chair and looks at you like and says, not bad for someone no longer a Bone Sage.
It's an impressive piece of maneuvering.
No, it's,
We ever ask him about crystal dubiousness?
I don't know what that means.
Crystal zombies.
Don't think so.
Okay.
We should.
I mean, I want to.
I felt like I did,
don't
but I
think
might be
so.
mistaken.
To be fair, how useful is Sindel ever in direct conversation? This is like the most coherent he's ever been, and it's maybe the less bone
that's-
he's getting, like the more
Yeah.
person he's becoming.
Maybe he's just learning how people speak. He's like,
Mhm.
maybe I should do this now.
He has a crash course in
But you know what,
diplomacy.
there is
Like-
a good pretext to bring it up, specifically
yeah.
the Matva.
So yeah, that's why I'm thinking about it. Like, so there was this one time that we ran into this bioweapon that seemed to turn people into almost crystalline versions of any kind of prods Lyco, but a bit more brainless.
Zombies. They were
D-
essentially zombies with some sort of crystalline structure inside them.
I have reason to believe it was Aspis made. Is that right? I've got reason to believe it was
Yes.
Aspis made, but possibly in line with the Corpse fleet, since we've seen one of their head delegates with them.
Kind of looks at you blankly. He goes, elaborate.
Well, you see, well, my old leader's been linked to the creation of said crystalline bioweapon. And, well,
Nods. Goes,
I'm kind of trying to chase it up.
and he just looks at you and goes, is it important?
It's quite important.
Then good luck on your search. He nods and like slides the glass of water over to you again, just like nudging it a bit closer again to you.
Take that as a no then.
My focus was on maneuvering for a more harmonious pact system, not chasing arms dealers.
It's more chasing a Vesk that might be plotting to use on your tech against maybe you or the Pact Worlds.
Kind of like
It did seem
we
to
did
affect
not
you already.
use science to manipulate the former living, so it was not of Bone Sage, Eoxian, or Elibrian design. He just says that so matter-of-factly.
was
And
gonna
not
add
the
that-
Corpse fleet.
And he waves a vague hand and goes, I speak not for them.
Okay. I mean,
He looks at it and
That's
goes, you realise my manoeuvrings are third party. I spoke through your, and he does the pyramid motion, and they spoke with their contact within the corpse fleet, the Bone Sage Carnelian. I think that's his name. Let me just double check that. Because he's had a name for ages. Carnion Krem is his full name, actually.
Alright, that's
Yeah.
weird. So I was going to say the weapon did seem to function against the already dead quite effectively.
There we go. And he looks at it and goes, the corpse fleet are no longer dead, though. They are the undead. The animated dead. It seems like you're asking.
The evidence seems to indicate it would have worked on me had it been able to reach me.
And he looks at you and goes, you are not of the corpse fleet. Nor of the animated undead. You are
I'm different enough.
Barai. He nods.
Okay.
He smiles.
That's interesting.
He just nods and smiles. And then looks over at Weird to see if there's anything, because you're in full armor, so you were deliberately hiding your face and stuff, so there's very little to read. But it's not really like Sindel reads much from
There's
people's-
very little to read generally.
But also, like, it's not like Sindel reads from people anyway, that way. The most we've ever
Well
had
then,
was
fine.
yeah, like his best intuition was just making Zig fall asleep when he needed a nap. The good times.
It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, anything weird?
Weird's head is just slowly moving from individual to individual as they take their turn speaking, but he doesn't add anything.
Mhm.
And when Sindar looks at him, he just looks directly at Sindar.
And Sindel just
Looking
like
continues.
smiles and then picks up his glass and puts it back in his pocket. And then just looks at everybody as if still waiting to hear more, because that's mostly Sindel's look.
Yeah. I mean, I've that's all I wanted to know. Appreciate
And
the
he
info, regardless.
looks at you and goes, I did not tell you anything. He looks at you suspiciously.
For us, what counts.
He looks at you confused and goes, you asked if I knew anything about bioweapons and I said I did not. Which thoughts count?
At least actually answered me this time.
He smiles as if to stop the conversation. And then looks at Lyko and
That's
says,
a bit normal.
do you have intentions to disrupt my maneuverings?
I look to the captain and then I'll look back and say, well, that certainly hadn't been my intention.
He nods. I would like that also. It took many pained conversations with many Vesk who care for achievement more than action. He nods, like slowly. I do not wish to repeat things that have already been done. He narrows his eyes at that because there is, the audience can laugh at that joke based on Sindel's entire existence. But yeah, he kind of nods and goes, he's giving you the look as, are we done here?
Shall we return then to the ship?
Narrows it. And do you wish to go back to the one we just left?
I think we should just say yes to that, so I'm nodding.
Yes.
And then, he nods, and then he looks at Zora.
But nodding.
Good. And then he's all like teleport back and appear back in the same corridor, just in all different positions, because, it's Sindel. I think as that kind of like magic effect dissipates within the dining room, we just have Snyder walk in and look around as if, and then that's where we end the session. So.
She'll get used to it.
Yeah, right. I just like the idea that she was probably downstairs swimming, and it took her that long to get ready and come up to check. Yeah.
Probably either swimming or wearing nightwear or both.
Yep. Lady of Leisure.
That was her first thing.
What do you want to call the session?
That's a good question. I think something simple like in the belly of the beast, but then it didn't go to belly beastishly. If you see what I mean. That was some poor words.
No, I got you. I got you. Yeah.
English.
Oh, they got that?
I think so.
Probably we have.
I think it was a suggestion, maybe at some point.
It's definitely something I would suggest.
There was annoyingly I didn't write it down because that's the usual way these go, but one came to mind about halfway through the session and I've just not remembered it, so that's gone to time. Sadly. But yeah. So yeah.
I'm not
So
sure.
let's review what happened. You docked with the Merciless blade and saw just how many warships are here. You got the tour, right? The unnecessary tour of the Merciless blade through all the promenades and stuff and the parks. You had Yeah, maybe it should be something about going after Matva as well, since you were giving a mission to go hunt Matva.
Oh. Have we used this before?
No, I think so.
I felt like I've suggested it before. I couldn't remember if we used it or not. But yeah, that's
You may have suggested it
because,
back when, remember we cliffhangered on him turning up in the holovid long ago with the Kivalari. So,
possibly.
so that was it. Merciless Orders is not bad. It's not bad as well. Yeah, I like it.
What will Merciless Orders happen?
Yeah. Is there any there must be a good way about positioning, right? There must be a good term in there, like a good title somewhere about because lots of people are like maneuvering, Merciless Manoeuvres, something like that. Maneuverings, maybe Merciless Maneuverings. Maneuver is a horrible word to spell.
Manoeuvres, I think Merciless Manoeuvres goes better. Like, just sounds better. Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. I also just can't
Merciless.
spend. There we go. I managed to get it in the end. I can never spell that word first time. It's not bad. I just feel like there's a lot of people positioning themselves in this one as well, right? Even down to like the arguments that the experts were having in Zig's scene, right? Right down to that. Wait a second, I got another suggestion as well.
Fuck, boys. I just realised something.
What's up?
I hate you, Ryan.
What?
I just realised what the ending was.
Alright.
I just realised what the ending was.
Okay, do you want it? Right, we'll talk about it off stream, right?
We're only as a flare, aren't we? We're not on the fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
What did you think?
The thing I was on the fucking Merciless.
Oh, did that take you that long? I thought everything else got
I
it, like,
really
pretty
did,
instant.
man. I just clicked, man. I just clicked. I'm tired, man.
I thought you meant to the game.
Are all tired.
That's what I thought you meant.
I don't know.
I was like, wow, spoiler bombs.
No, I just... Yeah, the last shipboard. No, god damn it.
Yeah.
So,
That's why Cecil was there and the table where you order drinks from by typing onto it. Like, yeah.
did you not say what's her face spoke Finida?
Tanida, yeah, at the end. That's on the Azure Flare. All that's the Azure Flare. Yeah. That's also the last ship that Sindel was on, and you said take him to that. So yeah. He doesn't know what your ships are called.
Go just get him to give a lift to the airship. It's fine.
I mean, it
It's
worked.
fine.
Yeah. He's also a really, really good craftsman at fixing cups, apparently. So, yeah, what else are we going for? Even just the Merciless is pretty good, actually, but I see that we've already got 2 votes for one, so that's already working for me. Anything else? Or is that as titles?
Myself, but there we go.
That's okay. It's good. It's a good one too. Perfect. Yay! So we've got Mystics, Manoeuvres, and the Merciless. Because that's quite a theme in our game, is naming them like that, right? We've had a few like that.
Militarization.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's have a look at goals.
Goals.
Right.
Always believe in your soul.
So, Zara, personal goal.
Nah.
So it hasn't happened. Are you going to continue with it or change it?
Nah. I kind of got what I wanted for it, to be honest. I've already got the info what I wanted for these files, but I mean,
Sure.
shock. I should have specified.
You don't want
that.
like his vacation snaps, no?
Nah. I wanted to know what he wanted to be Octurne. I kind of figured that I knew what he wanted to be Octurne. That was just fucking stature. Look at me, what I can do, and that's exactly what he wanted. So
There you go. Right, so wipe that out and we'll get a new one. Right. Lyco, I know we haven't done yours yet, unless somehow you've read between the lines incredibly.
No.
Yeah, cool.
No.
We sticking with it or are you
I'm
changing it?
keeping
Cool,
yeah.
that's fine, perfect. Weird, we have not established a cybernetics business yet. Although it's,
Not
I
yet.
mean, like it's pretty much there, right? I'd say it's like a
Yeah, it's not
95%
far.
complete, yeah. I can't remember what the last step is. I hope you do.
I just need to properly sit down with Queenie.
Yeah, you need to actually like do the business part of it to make it an official space business and you're sorted. That was it pretty much.
Yeah.
Keeping that.
Yeah.
Zig, I know you've not delivered the egg yet. In this
Possibly
timeline
not.
that we are currently witnessing.
Yeah, this is true.
One of the Zigs may have already delivered it. But they probably got the goal on their sheet for that.
Ah, damn it.
Yeah.
See if I donate a previous goal to a different Zig. Can I get this goal? Oh wait, that wouldn't make it.
Yeah. Equivalent exchange goal Zig timelines. No thanks. So you keeping yours or do you want to update your goal based on what's going on with you?
I don't know what I'd update it to is the issue.
Acquire a new crew member.
Yes.
Like you did say that in the session.
I did say that. Take
Madvin.
Demadvin, yeah. Take Demadvin.
To Tome.
Home. Wherever home may be.
Okay, so basically get Madvin assigned to the crew is what you really want with that.
That's what I want.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
okay.
go for it.
Okay, yeah, why not? Because it's probably more likely to happen than delivering the egg at the moment, unless you use the Cinderella post system. Oh god, what have you done? Okay. Right, general goals. That's
Steal the
happened.
Merciless Blade, that's ongoing.
Okay, yep.
I'll be Blafter, it's going to stay with Blafter. I was actually my OCD kicked in there, but nah, it's Blafter.
Yeah, it's Blafter. Okay, deliver Edgar to Traxxas. I mean, you've just essentially left him on board with access to the armory, so that's fine. It's genuinely not even an issue. Like, I know I'm saying that like it is, but it's really not. Considering what you've seen Edgar able to do with the ship that you have, with his rewiring for the drift bomb.
He wanted to mess about with, he would have by now.
Yeah. He also doesn't need to mess with you. He's a Rainbow Shadow Demon. Like,
The Rainbow Shadow Demon that wants to blow himself up.
and can
Or
use
something
Zig as a power source. Like, it's all sorted.
that.
He's literally just wants to blow up his boss, his former boss. What's wrong with that? Arguably, the Vesk would probably be into that if they don't like Aspis, right?
We know they probably do like Aspis, right?
I mean, yeah, they do make a lot of weapons. So we've then got conclude the Kivalari case. How are we thinking about that?
Still ongoing.
I mean, I still think it's important and relevant considering the business of Matva.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then speak with Tomogesh on situation on Octurn.
I mean,
Guess what, Nico?
kind of missed an opportunity there.
I mean,
You did do that. I don't know why you're saying you missed
I
opportunity.
did
You
Yeah,
literally
I mean, I
did
was like-
all of
I
that.
was like,
Octurn.
yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of it, isn't it?
You literally
We
spoke
were
about
changing.
Octurn with Tomogesh.
Oops.
Never
That
said
was kind of.
what situation. He just decided his situation was the one you wanted to talk about. So yeah, that's been done. It's no point in talking yourself out of goal.
Boom.
Yeah. Look at that.
Goals. We've done the goal thing.
11 so far, that's not bad. Right, so we've then got gain useful MAO info. Well, I mean, arguably she's about to get blown up, so that's fine. Keeping that or ditching it?
I mean, I would still like to gain some useful
Yeah,
information
fine.
about her. I mean, like her death, that'd be useful info.
I mean, which one? So we've got a general goal slot, and I see you've already put one in for your personal one. Hit me up with that.
Discover the whereabouts of Matva, because I mean, seems like a decent one from now.
Yeah. And then we've got get Madvin assigned to recruit from Zig. Good, I like it. And we've got a general goal, guys, so let's get a general goal in here. What's the plan?
Why is our general goal?
What's the next step? So you've
Maybe
kind
we'll
of
get this egg out of our hair and go to the Solar Monastery, because we could probably just shove that in the general goal. Right? That's a pretty general
Yeah.
goal. That's not just a big thing.
Yeah.
I would like that out of my hair. Or
Mhm.
my scaly bits. I don't know. So I guess deliver.
because that's on. Is that on the Fine Lover or is that on the Azure Flare? I feel like it was last. Yeah. So yeah, you could definitely like get back in touch with them.
Yeah.
Because they also have
Is that how you spell Monastery?
Query, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry.
I think there's no Tari, I think it's just TRY, I think.
Monastery.
Monastery.
I can't remember.
I think I always add A's in, which is my downfall to the word monastery. It's just difficult.
Monastery. Monastery.
My God.
T-E-R-Y.
Yeah, I don't know.
At least I knew the A was wrong, I just didn't know what was meant to be in its
You
place.
forgot the Z.
Yeah.
I done it like EA. It should have been AE.
Right, so deliver egg to the Solar Monastery. Yep, that works for me. Everybody else happy with that?
Yeah.
It's also at least just away from the Viscarium for a little bit, which is nice. Any other gold chat going once? Going twice? Alex, any other gold chat? No? Good.
That's for me.
Perfect. So, wrap up chat time, which is excellent. So, yeah, why don't you start us off? Zora.
Yeah, I mean, that was a joy to speak to Demogesh. It was the easy poppers get.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not liking the whole part about like just throwing the big shit
So,
into his boot.
that isn't obviously necessarily his plan, but it is one of the biggest guns they have, let's face it. Besides his ship, this is also like, you know, the biggest gun they have.
Oh, that bit.
Try that again. You're being choked from afar.
Oh, I went down the complete wrong way, sorry.
Welcome back.
Hello. I will try not to cough. That's painful. Sorry.
Slow breaths. Ooh.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the Madfin was pretty good.
Yeah, do you like the Madvin? I liked her too. She was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, must be the femmes that have got up at Yakima.
Mm-hmm.
I've always got up at all like femme and the old, like, you know, totally feminine.
The old DNA, yep. The Vescana, yep, that's it. But that's it, like it's, I was really debating right up until I just definitively said female that it was going to be like another like blue-tinted male, but I was like, no, I quite like the idea of just actually having another female Vesk, since, you know, at a glance, it's either slightly green or slightly blue is the way you'd tell, and that's it. And people look at you and go, you're not quite as big for a female. Oh, you're the Abyss, in fact. Hello. Because you're quite obvious, given your space celebrityness that you have.
Space Seb.
Yeah. But no, I quite liked Madvin. Madvin was fun. Also, like, the only one that was, like, so done with their shit, because they seem like they've been put in charge of the rabble, and they hate it. So, yeah. Quite another down-to-earth Xenodruid Vesk, which is good. Yeah. How do you feel about your new assignment?
I mean, whether or not I actually complete this is a different story, but I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was also like, how long were we waiting for him to be like declaring war on Matva, right? Like,
True. Yeah. True. Very true.
Because
It's on that amount of time, really.
it's almost like as soon as he secured you, the first thing he gives you is, yeah, it's about time we killed your old boss.
It's not a really bad time we got rid of that bitch. Yeah.
It's literally just his way of being like, you know, prove your loyalty, Cox gun, sits it down on the desk. Kill your friend. So yeah. I don't know, I quite liked Mulgesh. I actually really like him as a character. His weird, I've been in this job for far too long and have kind of forgot the point of the job vibe he has going on, I love. Since he's one of those annoying bosses that's allowed to be super, super casual with you, but you have to be super strict with him. Like you can tell he's an asshole because of that. Definitely not basing this a lot on an old physics teacher I had that I hated. But yeah, it's good. Yeah. Anything else, bud?
No, that's it. That's fine.
How do you
I'm
feel
just-
about the recruitment process Zig's about to be undertaken?
I'm fine with it. I mean, Mer Vesk with sense is fine. That's good.
Yeah, the more Vesk presence you have on board, your
Although I don't know,
rigged ship is the
she's still very Vesk and wise. Sort that out.
It's fine. It's totally fine. I wouldn't worry. It's one more weird person on board, right? That I have to remember their goddamn personality for. Yep. Get another post-it note around the screen so I can remember who acts what way.
I don't know how we're gonna like get her. I mean, I could probably just say you with me, but I mean,
Yeah, like you could obviously using Clout as, one of the highest ranking people on the ship now. Yeah, you could ask, but that would be considered, that level of asking that, like, you could get it, but it would be a favour you've asked for, really. And that's the way Demogesh would see it. So that's the only thing to be concerned with. If you take that resource from him, he's basically using Madvin as a buffer between him and 16 shouty people. So the 16 people shout it to Madvin, and then Madvin goes and talks to Demogesh, is probably how that relationship works. So you taking away that buffer means he'll make sure you pay for that somewhere, right?
right.
But that's fine. That's still potentially 7 years down the line, so I wouldn't worry about that. Yeah. Anything else, bud?
I'll be teach by the end of semesters.
Yeah. No, good.
Hope he's teaching like a couple of months, to be honest. It'll be for a couple of months at least.
And I'm very excited to see the next encounter with the Event Horizon, Matva herself. If you ever find her, that'd be good. Yeah. Remember the last communication you got when you entered the room and you had like that personal message?
On the Merciless.
No, on the final hour.
Played. Was it the final
It
hour?
was on the final hour, yeah. Yep. You had,
I don't remember it then.
you had a private message, and it was from Matva, and it was said, "I am like going off on mission, basically going dark."
Oh yeah.
And it's weird because they have no need to tell you that. That was why it was weird. But they deliberately, they deliberately reached out and said that. Then that was after, obviously they met up with people later, and then you obviously have been pulled into this nonsense with the Viscarium. So yeah, it's going well.
Very well.
Yes.
Need to figure out where she is.
Right.
It's gotta be fun.
Be good. Finding a spy in space. That'd be good. You've got the perfect crew for that, though, right? Just drift bomb sensors everywhere. Just randomly drift jump CC's mech, and then use your detective that can cast predict crime. So, yeah, be good. Speaking of drift bomb experts, though, weird.
I didn't do it.
Yet.
I enjoyed Vesk politicking. Just as I was going to say a neutral outsider, but I don't feel neutral.
Can you imagine if Nico hadn't played a Vesk, and I wouldn't have had a reason to have had as much Vesk interaction as I have had because Nico is a Vesk and a space celebrity Vesk? Like, I wonder what this game would even be at this stage, given how much Vesk politics has happened.
Mostly on fire. You wouldn't have to deal with those big players who could just be dealing with bombs.
Yeah.
So look forward to the Star Wars game.
Yeah.
So you can build some bombs.
What are those
As the
Jawas
captain.
carrying? Oh no, they're just taped to No, wait, damn it.
It's my new tracking device.
Yeah.
We ran out of gun guns. No, anyway, I enjoyed Best Politicking, getting to see Sindel in action.
Playing the game.
Yeah.
Very proud of
Like,
himself
just-
though, which is good. Which is funny because he
Nice.
spent too much time with the Vesk to realise that his commentary about them being proud of themselves, it's kind of rubbed off on him a bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you can't play at the big table without getting a little bit arrogant,
Mhm.
unless you're the captain.
True.
Uh,
Most chilled Vesk there is.
yeah, no, it's nice as well to meet some other Vesk that weren't annoying.
Right.
And problem. Cool.
Yeah. I
look
can't
forward
wait to see
them
how
joining our crew.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how you deal with them because
Oh, terribly.
yeah, probably it's like put on the social shields to deal with weird, not Alex, but weird.
Yep.
Lock them in place. Yep, he's not attacking me. Attacking the character I play. He's not attacking me. Although I still have fond memories of Weird and Tanida having it out. That was good.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
man.
weeks upon weeks of bitterness
Mm.
and tension.
Man, that was some good RP. That was. Whew.
Yeah.
Anything else, but
No, that's all.
excellent. And Ligo.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, that was good. It's good to get back in the saddle after a few weeks off. And yeah, nice bit of intrigue. I enjoyed getting to see S&D again. Oh, apologies, I'm quite tired. And yeah, obviously, somewhat a degree of tension from the environment, from our location, and from also, the sort of threatening. He's jovial in his manner, but quite threatening in his words. The Mogesh. So yeah, it's an interesting one, and I'm intrigued to see what's going on with Matva.
Mm.
Obviously,
So what's Lyco's hot take on that then, right? Because obviously she's been footed the bill, if nothing else, for the bioterrorism. What's your thoughts as Lyco?
what I think is that A, it's a convenient excuse, and B, if she was involved in it, almost certainly so was he.
Mm.
I find it very hard to believe that he found out about this after the fact and was so outraged. Like, yeah, it's underhanded, and Vest don't usually go in for that, but yada, yada, yada. Every human society ever has had some sort of code of honor, and every human society ever has, broken it
Yeah.
frequently. I don't think the Vesk are incapable of acting
Hypocrisy?
dishonorably.
Yeah, never.
So I would say that I think he is. Maybe it was all him. Maybe it was both of them. Whatever the case, I think he is. He has found, essentially a rope with which to hang her. Right. That this is the pretense, and that she has gone dark because she has anticipated what was coming.
Yeah, it's almost like the
And
spies
perhaps
saw
she's
the knives coming.
warned. Yeah, and perhaps that's also why she's warned the captain, because, maybe she anticipates his next move will be to use his new toy.
Yeah. So yeah, it's actually a good
Yeah,
point.
so
that I
that's sort
just...
of what I'm thinking, and I think that's more or less what Lyke was thinking.
So Zora, that's maybe something to keep note of, is the fact that you have that communication to work off, so your communications expert might be the best person to foot that to. As a starting point for that mystery. It's not the worst idea, so you might want to write that down for next time, because I will forget that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, who is communications expert?
Who do you
We've
think?
got a lot of good techie experts as a what's he call it? CC?
Yeah, 100% he's the comms
I-
expert.
It's just because I've got so many techie people.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've actually got like maybe a list of people who could probably sort us
I
out
told
some
you, you have,
comm shit.
you have a lot of, like, you're as you said, you're a space dum-dum, your own words, and you've filled your ship full of incredibly talented smart people.
filled that gap hugely. It's fine.
You really took on board the if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room thing. Yep, but you made it a spaceship. Sorry, Lyco, anything else, bud?
No, that's me.
That's good. No, you're right, it was very fun to get back in the saddle after a couple of weeks off. It was
Yeah.
a mild panic earlier when I had a small existential crisis going, what even was the game about? And I thought, no, good, it was all the Vesk stuff that was coming up. Good, I finally get to lore dump a bit, so it felt like we got to like hit the ground running a bit, even though it was me mostly downloading info to you guys. But that was it was quite good to give you like, I guess, some of the missing pieces, which is nice. Not necessarily explanatory pieces as such, but at least other sides of what's been going on. Which is the Vesk space map, at least. And last but not least, Zig.
Hello.
Hello.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
It was nice being surrounded by mystical types
Mhm.
and others.
People that actually speak your
So,
language. Yeah.
Yes. It felt, and it just felt kind of like, yes, the council of mystic people for this different group of people. Yes.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
all of a sudden, I feel important.
Yeah, and we get to see the fallout of you sharing all the Urgalas and non-egg stuff.
Non-egg.
Quite well. Yeah, be good. So
Good.
remind me at some point. I need to name the elder mystic guy because I feel like he needs a name because I think he has a title. He'll have earned a title.
No, I want him actually. Can we?
Grumpy Grandpa Mystic Vesk, yeah. Instead of Dimadvin, yeah. But yeah, we definitely need to give Grumpy Grandpa a Vesk title. Something ridiculously mystical. And we'll pick a mystic skill for him as well. We'll do that. It is probably the head explodey one though, let's face it. Alardin. Oh dear. Oh no. Just note that. Like, it's getting too difficult to track my NPCs across all the games, Tom, so please don't. Okay? Especially since I keep adding more and more and more. But yeah. It's nice that you were very fondly referred to as Medkit a lot in the session, and that seemed nice.
Yeah.
I quite like that, because it's nice. Sorry, Karen.
And I was just gonna say it was really enjoyable. And I think like after like the first reaction, Zig was like, "Okay, well, yeah, no, they get it. I'm gonna just get everyone to introduce myself as Zig the Medkit."
Yeah, it's good. I like that. And I also like the fact that like Dimadvin's only ever called you Medkit since you introduced yourself. It's like I'm not gonna say Medkit the Medkit, obviously. I'm just gonna say Medkit. Because as far as they're concerned, that's your title the way you introduced that.
Yeah.
Right?
I think Zig's kind of like fully aware of that. And
I think they changed the bloody intro now. So it's now Zig the Medkit son. The burning Medkit.
The burning Medkit.
But yeah. It's good. It's really good. I like that little that random lore joke that we made like way back many years ago now. About Zig being the Vesk word for medkit. I like that it stuck around, I'm not gonna lie. It's been really fun. Especially to have the payoff still hit us this far into the game. It's really good. I loved obviously Dimadvin. She was cool. Obviously Grumpy Grandpa of Mystic Vesk Man's cool.
Just awesome. And I liked his Doshko staff.
Yeah. His ceremonial mystical Doshko, which is just a Doshko with fancy bits carved into it. Yeah. Yeah. It's good.
With some feathers.
Yeah. Some mystic bullshit taped to it to make it look magic. Yeah. Because yeah, they're mystics, but also Vesk. And it's also nice to see that the Vesks have a mystic side, which I think is quite cool. Because we know that the captain does have mysticism about him. Yeah.
Basically a base monk, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
you're basically a Vesk Jedi. Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're like, if Godzilla was smaller and a Jedi, that's what you are.
As a teleporting maniac.
Yeah. Mantha's a machine. The Event Horizon herself. Zig, anything else?
I mean, it was nice, just seeing everybody in the Vesk ship for, Sindel showing up, and then I'm getting I loved Sindel sort of just like misunderstanding of the ship.
I mean, even right down to the fact that it was like, oh, there was a door here a moment ago. It's not realised he's walked past it. Yeah. Oh dear.
Oh, he's great.
Even just weird
nice
phasing through the wall and being like, oh, sorry, I took a wrong turn. That was good. I did like that too.
Yeah, so it was nice to see Thanaida as well briefly. Yeah.
yeah, you know, she's like, what? There were voices. What? Nope. Oh well. Um, yep. Just a bunch of cups, a cup of tea, and a cup of water sat out for no reason. Yep. It is good. Good to see Cinderell's way of explaining things is still using liquid in cups. It's pretty much.
Yes. I appreciated the tea as well.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, him spilling the tea. Yeah, that was good. It was also just. I remember you were saying last time you didn't actually think Zig had much to do on Triaxis. Because you were kind of looking towards the sun as you often are. For your next arc, but it's another reason where I'm like, I can't just tell you, but you will have something to do here. But there's no reason to tell you that yet, because technically the people don't know that. Like Tomogesh didn't know what you could do till you said it. So that was then like, that will happen, and then you'll have a job.
Yeah, it's hard to, especially when it's coming with goals and stuff for stuff that's like going to happen. It's like, okay, Trax is obviously going to be big, but you can't really.
It's the best advice I could give about goal is
you're there.
Don't forecast goals. Try and do stuff you have experienced, if that makes sense. Not stuff you've concluded, but stuff that you've been exposed to. Like, oh, we now know we have to go hunt down Matva and bring her to Vesk justice as far as Demogesh is concerned. But the goal can now be learn Matva's side of the story by tracking her down. That could be like a great goal which Nico's taken on board, track her down, and that's good because it's not just, find Matva before this episode had happened, which could be that we just want to find her because she isn't here at the moment. She is missing. She's been missing since that message the captain got. So where and why? And the last we saw of her was on the calm before the storm. So yeah.
Oh boy.
No, it was definitely then. That was definitely last because that was when you met her in the meeting room with everybody, and then you and her had a private chat. And then there was everything that happened on Hackathon after that. So yeah, and Eoxys and all that nonsense. So a lot happened since then, quite frankly. Yeah, that was good. Anything else, Sig?
No, it was fun. Thank you.
Yeah. No, you're welcome. Thank you all for playing. It was glorious to be back. Yes, glorious to be back. And thank you everybody that watched. Thanks, folks, for sticking around. Tom, hello. Alardin is never getting used as a name in this game, so long as I can remember. And yeah, say goodbye, everybody. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.